seen. You're all I need. You're all I need. Yeah. So now I'm learning to walk in your steps. And through the valley of confusion, I've been losing my apprehension with death. But you said, let me lead you, let me take you by the hand, so I can feed you from a good and precious land. Now I owe it all to you, giving my heart to you, freedom becoming true. Nobody else like you, do what you promised to, and I'm so grateful for your love. And all my eyes have seen the wonders of your mystery received. I've tasted what it means. Now nothing else is good enough for me. You're all I need. You're all I need. You're all I need. You're all I need. Oh, I need you. Yeah, I need you. Oh, I need you now. Now I owe it all to you, giving my heart to you, freedom becoming true. Nobody else like you, do what you promised to, and I'm so grateful for you. I'm so grateful for your love. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I need you in my life.
What's up, everybody? We are live. Grateful for your love and grateful to be here. Tuesday night, you know what we do. It's our stream. It's the Young Lion TV podcast where we talk about everything that's going on in the world today. And it's a lot going on. I mean, since last week, we're getting closer to Election Day. We're a week away. And, we had Joe Rogan bring Trump on the podcast, which nearly broke YouTube. And then, the Madison Square Garden thing. We're going to talk about all of that. We're going to talk about Kamala going on, Shannon Sharp, and denying Joe Rogan, and, the Beyonce fiasco, all of that. So we'll get into all of those things. Thank you guys for being here right now. Make sure you guys hit the like button and share this video with your friends so that we can get the algorithm going in our favor, because they shadow ban us on everything. Shout out to Papa Jeff in the chat right there. He said, evening, gents. You're watching Young Lion TV. Let's go.
Young lion, everywhere I look, they're dying. Everywhere I look, they're dying. Young lion, everywhere I look, they're dying. Everywhere I look, they're dying. Young lion, won't you get up and start fighting? Everywhere I look, they're hiding. Young lion.
That's right. That's the theme music, Young Lion TV. And like we said, we are live, like we do it every Tuesday night. We are in the Lion's Den, where we go over the things that are happening in the world. This is the Young Lion TV podcast. For those that don't know, if you're tuning in for the first time, we've been doing this for a long time now, just talking about, having conversations about things, and something that we've always done with each other as men growing up together, and and being in the music business and traveling and learning so many things, we've always had deep conversations. So we decided to start doing it live in front of people, to hash out ideas and also show an example of how men can have these tough conversations sometimes. So if that's something that you can get behind, again, hit that like button, share this video with everyone that you know. Those are the easiest ways to support what we do here and help grow the pride of the Young Lions. But also, if you want to support in other ways, we have a Patreon, which is patreon.com/youngliontv, where you can sign up and become a member. Shout out to Theris, who said hello to everybody, said hello, family. I see Emma in the chat. All the Patreon members are jumping in there. So if you guys want to support and become a part of the Patreon community, part of the Pride of the Young Lions, you can sign up over there at patreon.com/youngliontv for as little as $3 a month. It's very simple. You can support what we do. And, shout out to all the Lion King level supporters, Papa Jeff, of course, Courtney, my mom, of course, always coming through with the major support. And also, if you want to support in other ways, like you can see us wearing the Young Lion merch and the Jatan merch, the Grateful merch, all that stuff, you can head on over to our website, which is jatan.com/shop. And all of those things are available there. We have these cool little Young Lion mugs and stuff, and tumblers and all kind of things. But yeah, again, if you're in the chat, drop a comment in, say hi, get that algorithm going. If you're on YouTube, we're streaming on YouTube, Facebook, Rumble, Twitch, and Twitter or X. So make sure you guys jump in there and say hello. I know it's so hard to get used to that.
I always say Twitter too.
Shout out to Uncle Denny in the chat.
What up, Uncle Denny?
Make sure you guys hit those like buttons. But yeah, of course, I got to give the intros. Sitting next to me, as you see right there, he's the coolest Asian in the podcast world. He's my favorite Asian. I mean, you might be getting replaced today. I'm gonna show y'all later. There's a new Asian that might be my favorite that we're gonna talk about later. But yeah, he is my brother. I've known him since we were 16 years old. I like to tell a story. He gave me them chicken littles at KFC. And we've been friends ever since. He is Simone Chang in the building.
What's up?
Everybody say hello to Simone in the chat. And then, of course, on the other couch, we got my big brother. You see in the empty spot next to him, right on that lion face. That's the confusing half Indian, half black. He'll be here in a little bit. He's on his way. He's running a little bit behind today. But we do have the not so confusing. He's my big brother. He's the half black, half half Spanish and Puerto Rican, we'll say. Preacher, teacher, people, reacher, Jacob Eugene Evans III.
You guys are pretty confusing too, though.
I know. We are confusing. People never think we're brothers, so it's interesting when
there was a funny story though from this weekend.
Yeah, the show. Some guy was like, he knew we were brothers because we had the same hairline.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
Yeah. It should be. Oh, there.
Yeah, he kept on saying. There we go. He kept on saying they had the same hairline. They got to be brothers.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was
How
funny.
did you get that by hairline? That's crazy.
I don't know. But you hear that voice there. She is our mother, and we love her. She holds down the production for us every week and makes sure that the cameras are switched, most of the time.
When she's not engaged.
When she's not paying too much attention to the conversation. But she's Miss Angelique Lopez. Give her a shout out in the chat. And of course, me, the red-bearded, light-skinned guy that looks like every guy you've seen on TV that is light-skinned with a red beard, or Conor McGregor or whatever else I get all the time. So people always come up to me, I met you such and such place. No, that wasn't me. That was a different light-skinned guy. Oh, you look like my cousin. Yep. Okay, that's me. I'm Jamie Evans over here.
Courtney said, "Hey fam."
What's up, sis?
Gina said, "Love you guys. We love you. We miss you."
Yeah. Welcome to the podcast. So, first things first. Trump was on Rogan. It was highly anticipated. People were talking about it for a long time. It happening, or was it going to happen or not? And then I think Trump kind of put it out there a little bit when he was on a different interview. Who was he talking to?
Oh, the comedian dude, right?
Was it Andrew Schultz?
No, was it Andrew Schultz?
I forget who he was talking
He's
to.
been doing the comedian dude with the mullet.
Theo Vaughn.
Theo, yeah.
Yeah, was it Theo? Because he was
Yeah.
like telling him you should do Rogan, and he was like, I would do it, and then he was like, you know what? I think I am gonna do it, and then everybody, the internet went crazy, like, oh,
Yeah.
Trump's gonna do Rogan. It's gonna be epic, and it dropped. It was crazy because it dropped. We were in Rhode Island doing our showcase, and we got done around we left there around 9 something, right?
Yeah.
And we were heading back and had a long little drive ahead of us and popped open YouTube and boom, I saw that it had just dropped an hour ago and it already was almost at 1 million views.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
It was like 1 million every hour.
Yeah. But it was a 3-hour long interview with Joe Rogan, unedited.
Took 3 hours?
3 hours.
He
3
could have
hours.
he could have talked for longer than that.
Oh, he just got into the building. We're live right now, so welcome, join him in. He is the most confusing man in the podcast world. With fresh paint on the belly, right. So you know he's been working hard. He is the half black, half Indian with the Spanish last name, Mr. James Garcia, in the building. Cricket.
Sorry, Jiminy.
Oh. Hold on, watch that. Don't lose that. Yeah, make sure you got sound there. Make sure you're on channel 1 there. Can you hear? Push the button in. Yeah.
Yep, gotcha.
Got it. All right, cool. He's in there. Let me unmute you there. Boom. Now you're in. Okay.
Hey, what's up?
Yeah, how you doing, man? You all right?
Yeah, I'm good.
You good? Okay. All right. Yeah, we just started talking about the Rogan podcast.
Yeah.
With Trump and how it when we first saw it, we were driving back from Rhode Island, which was perfect for me because I was like, okay, this is gonna pass the trip.
Right.
I saw it was a 3-hour interview. I'm watching this whole thing. So, like I said, it had only been dropped an hour ago when I first opened it up, and it had almost 1 million views already.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, this thing is going crazy. I went straight to the comments just to see, before I even watched it, I went to the comments and saw, it was so positive. Everybody was, excited. People were tuning in from all over the world. There's people in Africa, people tuning in from, Samoa, from, Malaysia, all over the place.
I stayed up to 3 a.m.
Yeah, people were like, I just saw this. They're like, it's 4 a.m. where I'm at, but I just saw this. Looks like I got to put a pot of coffee on. People were excited to see this interview. Yeah. And, you don't know how it's going to go with a Joe Rogan interview because it's not scripted. He's not going to do gotcha questions, but it's not interview style. It's more conversational.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I noticed right away was that Trump was flowing.
Oh, yeah.
He was flowing, and he knows how to talk, but he has a tendency to, in most conversations, kind of take over.
Yeah.
You've seen it in the other interviews that people do with him. He kind of takes over, but it wasn't like that. This was different. I feel like a lot of people got to see a different side of him. But yeah, it was apparent to me that this was going to blow up.
Yeah. And his cognitive abilities.
Yes,
He didn't miss a beat.
He didn't stumble on anything. Right. He didn't stutter. He wasn't, And then he did that for 3 hours, which he went overtime because Joe Rogan said that his team was panicking because he had to fly to, I think, Michigan and do a rally right after that.
Yeah.
And then he was up doing a rally all night.
Wow.
But they're trying to say he has no energy, blah, blah, blah. So then the podcast was blown up so much. It had 20 million views in less than 24 hours. One of the most fastest growing podcasts in the world. But YouTube refused to put it on the trending page. It never showed up on the trending page.
Wow.
And then you couldn't search it.
Yeah.
It totally disappeared. You couldn't search it. I tried multiple times. I couldn't because I kept trying to go to get clips. Couldn't find it.
Yeah,
couldn't
I
search
just
it.
searced it now, and it's not easy to find.
Yeah. So they started censoring it because they
That's
realized
messed up.
how well this was doing. I have it pulled up right now. Let's just check it. Let's just check the analytics on it real quick, just for comparison on views. Where is it at right now? So it's at 39 million views right now
On YouTube.
on YouTube, just on YouTube.
Right.
Now that doesn't count Spotify, Apple Music, all the other places.
Now, has this been suppressed by them?
So that's what
Yeah.
I'm saying. So imagine if they didn't suppress it, censor it.
Right. Be 60.
They made it almost impossible to find. Like you had to search up his channel, go to his channel, and then find the video to watch it, which people were still doing. And then, and the reason why I think they were suppressing it so much is because, you know, like you can't, they took away the dislike button. Well, they left it there, but you can't see the dislike number, right? But
Hold up, guys. Donald Trump is texting me right now.
oh, okay.
I keep getting texts.
But so they took away the dislike button, and we know why, because of Joe Biden. Like that's why they took that away. But there's an extension you can put on Chrome to still see it, right?
really?
So yeah. So I pulled it up here. You can see right here. Look how many likes this video has.
I can't see from here. But
You can't see it.
3 million?
1.9 million likes.
Oh, yeah, 1.9.
Yeah, 41,000 dislikes.
come on now.
You know, and later we're gonna show the Kamala interview on Shannon Sharp
Okay.
and see those
I
dislikes.
saw that. I already saw that one.
I didn't see.
My thing is especially with this was I get American interest,
Yeah,
but what blew me away was the foreign interest.
yeah,
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like how many people from other countries are paying attention? Because I think that it's in 2 weeks it's going down.
yeah.
Right.
No, next week.
Next
Next
week.
Tuesday.
Oh, next week. Okay.
Yeah.
But also, guys, like, the way America goes is the way the world is going.
That's
Right,
true.
right. But I'm saying the amount of people that were just interested. I know that there's obviously interest in it,
Yeah.
but the amount of people, like you said, that were staying up to watch it. That
People
would-
didn't want to wait to watch this.
Right.
Like, you know, like somebody will drop an interview and it's late at night. You're like, oh, I'll watch it tomorrow. No. People were like, I'm watching it. I don't care what I'm doing. I'm watching
Did they show the
this right
Spotify numbers?
I haven't seen those yet. I haven't looked into those yet, but I'm sure they're through the roof, you know.
Yeah, I tried to go on there. You can't. They don't show it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Well,
Yeah.
Spotify doesn't show what the.
I don't think it shows like views and
Okay.
all that
it
stuff.
doesn't.
But yeah, I mean,
Yeah, I was excited. I kept on asking you, like, yo, did it drop yet? Did it drop
I know,
Yet?
and we were waiting.
I waited all day. It
Yeah.
dropped like later in the evening.
It was dropped
Yeah.
like 8:00 at night.
Yeah.
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 And then, like I said, by the time we got on the road around like 9.
Right.
I pulled up YouTube and it already had almost 1 million views.
Right.
And I was like, whoa. And then popped it on. And immediately it was like, yo, this is going to be huge.
Right.
This is going to be huge.
Huge.
Some
And then,
say.
like, I'll go to the comments right now.
Some say.
Some say.
I'll go to the comments right now. First comment, right? The one with the most replies, most likes. The fact that YouTube has a video with 33 million views at the time in 2 days and doesn't show it on the first page when I search for it, YouTube coping badly. You know what I mean? That's the first comment. Second comment, leaving a comment to fight YouTube censorship. Third comment, this is massively embarrassing for YouTube. Imagine a video going insanely viral despite you trying to censor it. I believe that Trump and Elon, the Elon thing really bring life back on the planet. Finally, thank God. How is that not number one trending? 33 million in 2 days is crazy. Shame on Google for censorship. These are all different comments. Damn, YouTube didn't want me to find this. With Trump and XA640K this year will be the best change ever. I can't wait. We need him. I don't know what that means. 3 hours unedited. This is what we expect for journalism. Podcasts are officially more important than traditional media now.
Yep.
This should be everywhere with 38 million views. Shame on YouTube. Like, these are all the and if you go through the comments, it's like everybody loves this interview.
Yeah.
But
Who's got the record for most views?
I think Alex Jones. I think his Alex Jones podcast has the most views.
I thought it was Shannon Sharp.
Oh, you're talking about
Oh,
just
you
in
talking
general?
about?
With the Cat
With the
Williams?
Cat
You
Williams.
talking about the Cat Williams thing?
Yeah, but that was
You
over
talking
almost
about
a
on
year.
YouTube?
That was a year.
I think that I don't know if that's the most.
He's
ever.
at 70 million.
With the Cat Williams.
Yeah, but that's from January to
Right.
now. Yeah.
Well, I think he hit like 50-something million. Right? Like in a week.
Let's see if we can find it. Most.
But that's without being censored.
Right.
Right. People are more tuned into,
Yeah.
you know.
one of my favorite comments was, who would you think? What did he say? 5 years ago, or no, 10 years ago, you never would think that the guy from Apprentice and what's the show?
UFC.
No, the show where Joe Rogan was the host.
Oh, Fear Factor.
Fear Factor, the host of Fear Factor and the host of Apprentice would have this much impact on how the world would go.
Yeah.
The most viewed podcast on YouTube is look like some Indian or some Arabic podcast. It's got 110 million views.
Right.
And it came out in August of 2024.
Oh, okay. So it was Shannon Sharp, and then that, right?
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I didn't even see Shannon Sharp, but
'Cause I just remember at the time they were saying he was the most viewed.
yeah.
Probably that blew up the internet too.
Yeah. And I'm just making that point because
It wasn't censored.
but also because that's where Kamala went.
Yeah, right. But she refused to go. She refused Joe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That came out today. Like,
But why?
yeah, he was really trying to get her on there.
He when Trump said she's not going to do it.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
She's not. He even stepped in and said, "No, I welcome her."
Yeah, he
but
said
I'm
I
not-
wouldn't give her gotcha questions.
Yeah, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
Which is why I give Joe a lot of credit because Joe stick to his formula. Like that's his formula. We're gonna have a conversation,
Yeah.
and we're not doing that. You're not gonna give me a list of questions to ask you. We're not doing that. He has changed this format, podcasting, but Joe Rogan has changed the idea of the consumption of information and even the dialogue. Because even Cenk Uygur, who's like a Trump
Hater.
said
He's Trump deranged.
right, said he
looked
Trump
presidential.
presidential,
Yeah.
and he didn't show like what they're trying to say about him. He looked presidential,
Yeah.
but it's not that he looked. He's never skipped a beat.
Yeah.
In terms of like, well, something's off with him. So that was never anybody's issue. That's the left wanted to create that narrative.
That was another thing I was seeing on X. I was seeing a lot of like centrist people posting it and saying like, this interview changed my opinion of Trump, and it showed me that the media has been lying to me about it.
Sure.
Like I got to see him talk for 3 hours straight, you know.
Right.
Yeah, you can't talk for 3 hours straight with it being uncensored,
Unedited,
It's just regular, just a
Right.
conversation and not throw in some stuff you accidentally threw in there.
Yeah.
that you didn't
Right.
want. You know,
Right.
that's
Yeah.
not
Or
gonna
mess
happen.
up.
Right.
You know.
Yeah. It showed you that the stuff that he says, he genuinely thinks. It's
Right.
not. It's,
Right.
None of it is like what his team is telling him to say.
Right.
Pre-scripted answers.
Right.
Yeah.
You know.
Which is you're never gonna get that in the corporate news media format because it's either gonna be geared towards making you look great or attacking you.
Mm-hmm.
But it's done in small segments, which is like what, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes, if that.
Right.
So those kind of the way the news is set up is meant to either make whoever they like look like a darling, and whoever they don't like spend the next 10 minutes attacking them.
Well, that's why they do it in that format because it's so much easier to control narratives that way.
Right.
You know, if you can catch people in little gotcha things here and there, and if they do something good, you can easily sweep that away,
Right,
edit
right.
it away, do whatever.
And the reason why someone like Joe Rogan is credible is we have seen him push back, but he's not doing it from the standpoint of like, I want to get you.
Right.
Yeah.
He's not doing
I
it.
just want to know the truth
I just
about
want
this.
to, and he corrects and he's like, well, no, that's not because of this, this, and this.
The reason why I started watching Tim Pool was because of that episode where Joe Rogan had Jack Dorsey on, who used to own Twitter, and people and his whole audience was pissed that he didn't push back on Jack Dorsey. Like some of the stuff Jack was saying didn't make sense. He was lying about censorship on Twitter,
Right.
and Joe Rogan didn't check him or didn't push back, which
Probably
he's
didn't
known
know.
to do. But he said he wasn't educated on
Right,
the
right,
matter,
right.
and so he actually Tim Pool was one of the people on Twitter who like wrote this whole thing to Joe, like saying these are the things that you missed on the podcast. So he contacted him and was like, I'm gonna have Jack back on. Can you come on
Yeah.
and you had the conversation with him?
Yes.
You know.
And what news format would ever take that in consideration?
Right.
You think
Right.
they would be like, hey, there's a guy out here who has fact checked everything. Would you like to come on?
Right. And
much
so
views
that's
does he
when
have?
Jack Dorsey came on with the Indian chick that was his lawyer because he
Right.
didn't want to come on by himself. He
Right.
wanted to make sure he had his lawyer with him. Right.
That was bad for them.
Yeah. And they said a bunch of stuff that
And
was
that
lies.
YouTuber took them down.
You destroyed him, you know, and that's when I was like, yo, who is this beanie wearing guy?
But here's what I've learned from that, right? Is all these people that we have elevated based on titles,
Yeah.
they're there, and I'm not saying they don't deserve this, but the title itself is a charade.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because here is Tim Pools, who didn't go to college, he's
Nope.
an intern. He's really
Dropped out of
smart.
high school.
Right, really smart.
Yeah.
And the owner of Twitter and his lawyer shredded them.
Mm-hmm.
So I think this is something unique, right? Where we're in a time where the public, the viewing public, usually lots of young male, can see that the facade of the media, the
Yeah.
facade of trusty experts,
experts,
this
yeah.
person is qualified, they have a PhD, and when questions, basic simple questions,
Yeah.
right, on things they have said is fact checked, they fall apart.
Think about that segment where Sanjay Gupta came on.
Oh,
Rogan.
I was just thinking
Yeah, I
about
was
him.
thinking about that.
That was a
too.
perfect example of that. And he had to check him on how CNN lied about him during COVID.
And then they went back and they
went
yelled at
back.
him. They yelled, "You idiot!"
Yeah. How could you admit that? Yeah, but let's show some highlights, some of my favorite moments from the podcast, and then we'll get to the next story. This first one is I think Joe talking to him about like how does it feel when they label him as such a horrible person. Oh, is
Publicity that
this is I think Joe. Let me fix that. The Twitter audio jumping in there. Always forget that it does that. All right, here we go.
other people, and it wasn't like I was trying. In fact,
Start it over.
so I always got more publicity than other people, and it wasn't like I was trying. In fact, I don't know exactly why. Maybe you can tell me why.
Oh, I could definitely tell you. You said a lot of wild shit.
Maybe
You
that's,
said a lot of wild shit, and then CNN, in all their brilliance, by highlighting your wild shit, made you much more popular.
yeah.
But I
And
think he's
they
not
boosted
even.
you in the
I
polls
think
'cause
he's
people-
even talking about like in the 90s.
Yeah,
you
he's
know,
talking
like-
about even when
way
he
earlier.
when he was just a business mogul.
Yeah.
That's what he was getting at. Like people always wanted to spotlight him for some reason. You know.
People were tired of someone talking in this bullshit, pre-prepared politician lingo. And even if they didn't agree with you, they at least knew whoever that guy is, that's him. That's really him.
Right.
When you see certain people talk, certain people in the public eye, you don't know who they are. You have no idea who they are. It's very difficult.
Who's he
to know.
talking
You
about?
see them in conversations. They have these pre-planned answers. They say everything. It's very rehearsed.
Who's that sound
you
like?
never get to the meat of it. One of the beautiful things about you is that you freeball. Like you get out and you do these huge events, and you're just talking and you're making. We've highlighted you on the show many times when you did this Biden impression where he's walking around, he doesn't know what he's doing. It's funny.
fierce.
It's stand up. It's funny stuff. But it's like you and you were making fun of Elon one time. You were doing an Elon impression. It's great. You have like comedic instincts. Like when you said to Hillary, "You'd be in jail." Like it's great timing.
Yeah.
But it's like that kind of stuff was unheard of as a politician. Like
And what he's getting at is we saw something in Trump where it's like, okay, this guy's not rehearsed. He's not. I remember those Republican debates is
Right.
what really opened my eyes to Trump because I was when I was like the Apprentice guys running, like
Right,
the You're Fired guy, like.
Right.
But when I saw him on stage dismantling one by one,
Right.
every one of those guys and exposing how it works behind the curtain,
Right.
and from the aspect of a businessman who's been there and can tell you, like, I know how all this works. I've participated in it. This is what he's gonna do. This is what she's gonna
Right.
do.
Bing,
you know,
pow,
yeah.
checks in the mail.
And it was like you've never seen anyone do that before. And I'm telling you, like that, and I noticed that when he started doing that,
Right.
that's when the media really started saying, like, okay, we got to stop this guy.
Right. Well, he built momentum.
He's
too.
a wild card.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he built
But he's someone that we can't control.
Right. And if you go back, I know that he's been around for a long time.
Yeah.
But if you go back and you watch him, he really hasn't changed.
No.
Like, it's not like he was once this guy. He was once loved, and
Exactly.
he's now loathed. But what I'm saying is, if you go back and you watch an interview, even there's one with Oprah. I just watched it recently.
Yeah.
And he's talking the way he talks.
And she's begging him to run for president.
Right, right. And it's like, he really hasn't, like, his demeanor hasn't changed. And I think what it is this. Like Joe just said, we have gotten conditioned to the tricks and the lies of politicians, the verbiage. So we, the public, all of us, when we see someone, we expect them to be very presidential and stoic, and that's their idea of a leader. You know, when you go back and you read that, even Bill Clinton's hand movement and how you place the hand, Obama rolling up the sleeves like he's getting to work. Right. You know, all of these kind of things. We're tricked into these visual triggers and cues that lock us into, that's a leader. Yeah. And so someone like a Trump who comes along, he didn't have to earn his millions or his money by tricking anybody. Yeah. He essentially was himself, and he spoke candidly. And he just transferred that to the presidential race. And we were so shocked that someone was being so open, that we were so used to. We just came from an era where a man was super polished. Obama was probably even more polished than Bill. Right. Bill tried to resonate with the younger crowd playing the saxophone. We were so used to that Trump, they didn't think, because he didn't, do you think Trump, they were like, Mr. Trump, you need to start going to the presidential election class, where you're gonna walk like this and talk like that.
I'm sure they tried to give him
they did.
all
He said
those
no.
pointers.
And when they heard this, the opposition, they probably were like, he's not gonna win.
Yeah, this guy's never gonna get anywhere. He doesn't know how to do this.
So they're just as much as surprised.
Yeah. And then Joe goes into the story of how they used to love him on The View. You remember that?
I've seen that.
Yeah. I've seen that clip too, but The View actually came out and tried to debunk this. So let's play a little bit of that.
One of the things I wanted to talk to you about, I wanted to play this, but we decided we shouldn't play it because it could get copyright strike, and we don't want to get the episode. We don't want anybody to have any sort of way to get it down.
Sure.
But it was the episode of you when you were on The View. And I think it was 2015 or 2006, like when you were running for president.
Right.
And you got introduced as our friend Donald Trump.
That's right.
Whoopi Goldberg gives you a big hug and a kiss. Joy Behar gives you a big hug. Barbara Walters gives you a big hug. They all loved you. They were all talking about how you're, you might be conservative in your financial positions, but you're very liberal socially. They were talking about you in such a favorable light. The audience was cheering. And then you actually started winning in the polls, and then the machine started working towards you.
So Joe Rogan didn't use the clip because what he just described does not exist. Donald J. Trump did appear on The View for a total of 18 times. However, he declared that he was running for president in June 2015. He appeared on The View on September 10th, 2015. Now, nobody ran up and hugged him or kissed him because he wasn't physically on the show. He called in. Rogan also mentioned Barbara Walters. She left the show in 2014, so she certainly wasn't doing that either.
Why are they lying?
Now, Whoopi Goldberg and Joe Behar
we'll
actually
get
had
there.
some questions that were quite critical of Trump. They didn't mention anything about how he was conservative but liberal. That was not actually a line of questioning. They were very critical of him. And then after he left the show, they continued to criticize him, saying that he was making up poll numbers and that he didn't understand women's issues and needed to research them more.
But he ended up winning
said, well,
anyway.
It's just a ride, and he's up now, but he probably won't stay up in the polls. That's the real episode. If you'd like to see it, I've attached it to this clip.
So this lady did a video trying to say that Joe Rogan lied. Joe Rogan blatantly lied or mixed up the appearance. So what happened was he got the date wrong. It wasn't the 2015 episode. He was on The View in 2011, well before he ran. Mm-hmm. This is the episode that he's talking about. Right. I'll play it right here.
Donald Trump is a billionaire, a real estate mogul, and a television star. But does he really want to add president of the United States to his resume? A lot of people would like him to. Please, let's find out, and please welcome my friend, Donald Trump.
So far, it sounds like everything Joe said. My friend Donald Trump. Here he comes.
Barbara left a while ago.
Yeah. But look how happy Sherry is. Watch Joy.
We're so happy to have you. Whenever you're on with us, we're very happy.
We're very happy whenever you're on with us. Now, the only one that you noticed was a little bit skeptical. I'll show her face when Barbara's talking about it. You see Whoopi's face, right? You see that little look right there when she says he could be running for president? Now, I'm going to explain to you why Whoopi is a little bit mad at Trump at this point. Because during the interview, she does say, we're friends. You know, she does say that to him. We're friends, blah, blah, blah. They all kept talking about them being friends. But this, and I've talked to you guys about this many times. This is pretty much the moment and the issue that turned a lot of people like Whoopi against Trump.
Recently said about President Obama, I'm going to quote you, he grew up and nobody knew him. Nobody knows who he is until later in his life. The whole thing is very strange. What are you driving at there? Are you a birther,
Well,
Donald?
Okay. Let me just tell you, I was a really good student at the best school. I'm not like a smart guy, okay? They make these birthers into the worst idiots. Why doesn't he show his birth certificate? I think he
should he have
probably...
to?
Because I have to, and everybody else has to, Whoopi.
I'm sure
Why
that you
wouldn't
can't
he
show
show...
his birth
Excuse me. Why? No, excuse me. I really believe there's a birth certificate. Why? Look, she's smiling. Why doesn't he show his birth certificate? And you know what? I wish he would, because I think it's a terrible pall that's hanging over him. He should show his birth certificate. The other thing, if you go back to my first grade, my kindergarten, people remember me. Nobody from those early years.
That's not true. We have pictures of them. What are you talking about?
Okay, show me a picture.
There are kids in Hawaii. There are people in Hawaii. There are people that he's grown up. No, it's little
seen
kids.
early pictures.
So now knowing what we know, he's right.
Yep.
But
At that time,
right. Especially for black people, this is what turned black people against Trump. This is what made he's a racist stick for Trump back in those days. This is
Obama was riding high too.
Obama was the god at that time, especially for black people. He was the god. This was his first term still. This isn't even the second election. This is his first term.
Right.
So for Trump to be coming at the god and saying that, like, well, who is this guy? So the fact that he's even questioning where he's from is racist.
Right.
And that's what they were framing anyone who questioned where he's from, even though, like, you just saw the video about the dude showing how the birth certificate that they posted on, because after all the backlash, they ended up posting that birth certificate on whitehouse.gov, which is fake.
Right.
It's been photoshopped.
It kind of makes me think about even Janet Jackson.
Yeah.
Because you know, like how people talk and especially when you're around like famous people.
Yep.
And we know this. Like people always got something to say. They always want to be the person with the
inside information. Yeah.
Yeah. So things will always come out.
Yeah.
Oh, but you didn't know this.
Yeah.
So then that's how you're like, wait, what? You know, and I think maybe that might have happened with him, with Obama.
Yeah.
And Janet Jackson, you know, the same type of stuff. Like that's what happens.
Right.
And I don't think people understand.
Yeah.
That's how it goes when you're around people who know people and you have these weird dynamics.
Yeah. Right. And I think for people like Whoopi, and people like the black community during that time, this is what allowed them to make Trump the enemy, was the fact that he was questioning Obama.
Right.
And he was critical of Obama.
Right. And we have to be, well, I'll speak for me, be honest. At that time, we didn't have access to the internet the way we do now. And there were a lot of white people that just was upset.
Yeah.
There was a lot of Muslim talk. Which, like I said, at that time,
there was racist talk.
There was a lot of there was a lot of cartoonish drawing of him and Michelle. So it's definitely that at that time he was one of the first, but it was people like Rush Limbaugh. He was attached to a lot of anti-Obama, which they took to be anti-black.
Right.
And me, even at that time, I was a supporter of his. I blew this off as more of like, you're a hater. You're just because what does a billionaire have to do? Because he wasn't announced that he was running.
Right.
So I think black people were offended more of them questioning the legitimacy of him winning.
Right.
You know, that they were offended at that, you know.
But now listening to what he was saying about no pictures of him in elementary school.
now.
And you know that he went
Right.
to elementary school in
Right.
Indonesia. You see, like, oh, he was right about that.
Now this train is unstoppable.
Yeah.
Right. Because we have way more evidence now.
Yeah.
And like I said, we actually have a lot of more access to information. Candace Owen did a great dive on. So whoever her team is, they're really good.
Yep.
Right. But none of that was available at that time. YouTube was filled
I've
with
never
like
seen anybody ask Obama about.
he wouldn't even entertain that.
No, he wouldn't. Just like you see, now Candace is doing such a good job with Kamala. Did you see on Shannon when she had to address it a little bit? Mm-hmm. And she had to kind of like move the goalposts. We're gonna get there. I'm gonna show y'all.
Yeah, I gotta watch that. I didn't watch any of it.
I just saw the clips, but this one is in particular is
watch the
very
whole
interesting.
She's so uninteresting.
But speaking of Kamala, so one of the other highlights was them talking about the McDonald's thing. I'll play that real quick.
Thing. So I did McDonald's last week.
I saw that.
And I actually got a call from your friends at Google, from Sundar. That's pretty good, right? He said, this is the biggest thing we've had in years.
You
The
at
hits.
McDonald's?
At McDonald's. Did you know that? It was one of the...
It was funny.
Who's a great guy, by the way. But he
We
said,
highlighted that last week.
this McDonald's thing, I want to tell you, it's one of the biggest things we've ever had on Google. It just hit.
love it.
But the reason I did, and I actually, you never know about this stuff. I thought it was a throwaway. Mm-hmm. I didn't think our conversation was
He
a
just
throwaway.
did so think about that. He literally just did it to troll Kamala. He thought it was a throwaway. Like he was just gonna do it one day for 15 minutes and move on. Just to troll her.
I thought I'd walk in, and that was only
But even
to
like, you got to think about that. Like, for him to even think in that way.
Yeah.
Like, that's what Joe is talking about.
Right.
You know, that's not something that politicians, because you're so afraid.
Yep.
You know, like, because I was going to say earlier, one of the biggest things with him is there's freedom. Like, there's genuine freedom where he's not in bondage of everything he thinks he has to be.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Which when you're a politician, you are.
Yeah. You're looking at poll numbers.
Yeah.
What's gonna poll well with this
Right.
group, with that group.
And
But-
I'm sorry, I have to make this point. Not only that, but what people don't realize is it's not just that. They have handlers.
yeah, they do.
Let's not pretend that these politicians, I'm talking career politicians,
yeah.
are just independent thinkers.
Nope.
No, they're not.
You don't move up those ranks without
No, they're
people
not.
over you telling you this
Yes.
is what you're gonna do. This is what you're gonna
do.
push.
This is when
Yeah.
you're gonna do it. And this is the difference between when you're truly an entity within yourself in terms
Yeah.
of the physical form.
Right.
Who could tell him what to do?
Yeah, and that's the problem. That is the problem.
And it can be a problem sometimes because that's the other end of it. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to be doing stuff and it doesn't play the way you intended it to play. It'll be taken wrong. It'll be taken out of context.
Yep.
All those things will happen. And you got to be willing to be okay with that.
And he admitted that.
Yeah.
That he made mistakes.
He did. One of the things I loved about this podcast was when he talked about he didn't know who to hire. He didn't spend a lot of time in DC. So when he first got in, he had to trust people that he shouldn't have trusted. And that's why he fired so many people. That's why there's so many disgruntled people making up stories about him now, you know.
Right.
But yeah, so he goes on to talk about how he worked at McDonald's for 15 minutes longer than Kamala did. They laughed about it. But then you sent that photo, right? So I saw that the campaign tried to get ahead of this story, and they're not taking credit for it, but they started floating this picture. They started floating this picture around the internet. This is from a group that called Progress Matters. It says, "Case closed. Now the cult can rest." Right? This is supposed to be a picture of, Kamala in her McDonald's uniform from the 1980s, But as it turns out, this is fake. This image has been edited. It's not an image of Kamala Harris. And we'll go to the original photo here. They actually took a photo of a woman.
Wow.
And superimposed Kamala using AI and other technology to incorporate it. And then it came out. This made it even worse. So they took down that post ASAP.
Case open again.
Because people figured this out quickly.
Right.
And like the family of this woman came out and said, "Oh, that's her. That's
Yeah.
And because this woman passed away of cancer.
Ooh.
So it's even a worse story.
Right.
Like they
See, man, the internet is undefeated,
you
man.
can't do it. You can't do it, man. You gotta just tell the truth,
Let's
man.
take a picture of a random person.
Yeah.
You know,
Someone from the
nobody's
80s.
ever gonna know.
Who's gonna find out?
Who's gonna look at this?
Yeah. Oh, they're gonna look. Yeah, so I thought that was interesting. And then Trump goes on to, like James was saying, he goes on to one of my favorite parts was when he tells Joe, he's like, I look at you, Joe. You're not a Kamala voter. You're not gonna vote for Kamala. Come on. You're not the type of guy that votes for Kamala.
You look like a Khabib guy.
Yeah, you look like a Khabib guy. You're not a Kamala guy. Then they started talking about UFC, but this was one of the moments when he talked about how Kamala's not going to come on Joe's podcast. He told him.
Show like this. Can you imagine Kamala doing this show?
I could imagine her doing this show.
She'd be laying on the floor.
She was supposed to do it, and she might still do
wasn't
it,
gonna
and
do
I
it.
hope she does.
Look, he said she
I will
wasn't gonna
talk
do
to her like a human being. I would
If
try
she
to have a
did this
conversation
kind of an
with her.
interview with you, I hope she does because it would be a mess. She'd be laying on the floor comatose. She'd be saying, call in
Joe's
the
trying not
medics.
to laugh.
I think we'd have a fine conversation. I think I'd be able to talk to her. I wouldn't try to interview her. I just try to have a conversation with her and hopefully
I like
get
that
to know
Joe
her
did
as
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's trying to be diplomatic.
Yeah.
Even afterwards, he had a conversation with the fight squad that he always brings on,
Yeah.
Brendan Shaw
Yeah.
and all that.
Brady
And
Bravo.
they asked him about it, and he said like,
No. Yeah.
Eddie kept like saying stuff, and he's like, "You're messing this up for me, Eddie. I'm trying to get her on." Like,
Right.
because
And
they all were saying the same thing. Oh,
Right.
she couldn't do that. She could never do what
She's
Trump
not
did.
coming on though.
Right.
She ain't coming on.
No.
Right.
Well, what she did was, we'll play the rest of this and then
a
we'll.
human being. That was my goal, having her on, trying to get her to express herself just as a. I don't know if these. I don't think these formats are good. I don't think that two
I like this.
people. First of all, I hate the idea of the presidential debates because I hate the idea of a time limitation on complex ideas. Also, you have to break.
I think you have to have the debates, though.
Right, but the way they do the debates, I think, is the wrong way to do it.
I was
think
gonna
they should
say
have a-
that earlier when we were talking about like this format.
Yeah.
Because a lot of debates that are starting to form, especially in the like the religious type.
Yeah, I'm seeing them in the manosphere too now.
Yeah, they're starting to become like more of a conversation type thing.
Sure.
I hate debates, like in terms of you
have 2
the
minutes to
opening-
respond, and
you
go.
Yeah.
10
You gotta get away
minute,
from that.
Yeah,
10-minute introduction. Like, oh, it makes me sick.
Right,
And the
but
rules
those are the
sometimes make-
those are the formal debate formats.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
but they make no sense though. Sometimes
Yeah.
sometimes they can rebuttal, and then they have a chance to rebuttal the rebuttal.
Yeah,
Right.
but only one person they can't respond
Yeah.
to that. Yeah.
And then the question and answer, like sometimes that's the best part because
Yeah.
at least they're having some type of a conversation.
Right.
But when you can like have a conversation, that's when things start to like play out.
If it doesn't get out of control, which is
Yeah,
what Joe,
right.
which is what
Yeah. He has a good
they were
control. I've
talking-
never
yeah.
seen it got out of control.
Yeah,
Right. And I just want to add this in. I'm seeing this format of a conversation more than a debate, even with the idea of pro-life, pro-choice.
Yeah.
The green movement versus the non-green. I'm seeing more of these formats set up where people are like, do you believe in this? And you sit down, you have the conversation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I just watched one where a group of people were like, I believe in this. Whether it's
You're talking
pro-life-
about like those Jubilee things where
Yeah.
they say, "Do you believe in something?" and everyone comes forward that believes,
Right.
and then they talk about
right.
it. Yeah,
I still think that's a step forward in terms of the way it's been set up for so many years.
Yeah.
That like even when you watch the debate, the first one with Kamala and Trump, when you ask a question, they don't answer anything.
Yeah.
They just go right into
They
attacking
want to
one
get
another
into their.
and-
They got to get their talking points.
Right.
In. They
So-
don't care to answer the
right.
question.
And the moderators never go back and say, you actually didn't answer that.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well,
So-
for Trump, they do.
right, with him they do. But what I like about the podcast format and the conversation, because we have to go back to that,
Yeah.
is if you are making this claim, you have to fight for this. You
Yeah.
have to contend. You have to tell me why, because we're having a conversation.
Which is what she doesn't want to do.
right, and you're not speaking to the crowd. You're not
Right.
trying to win the
Yeah.
crowd over.
And that's what I like that. Like, okay, you just made a claim. Now you have to
back
you
it
have
up.
to back it up.
fight for
and
it.
I'm gonna ask questions. I'm gonna keep pushing back.
And
Why
then-
does that make sense?
Yeah.
You can't like then never answer your claim.
Because we never
Right.
move on. We got to figure this out.
No, that has to be dealt with first. Then we can move on to something
Right.
else.
But that's why Trump knows that Kamala would never agree to do this, which she ended up like. It's funny because the game the media plays today, they came out with these articles saying that Joe Rogan refuses Kamala.
Sure.
Because what
we
it
know is a
really
lie.
was is he invited her and she refused, but then came back with.
Her
We'll
stipulations,
do it if you come to me,
Right.
and it's only an hour long, and you know they put these stipulations that they know would put her in her best light. That he's like that's not the way this works. That's not the way I do this. Like the best thing is for you to come here. Let's have a conversation.
And they've reached out to him.
Yeah.
It wasn't like he's open to it,
Yeah,
but they reached out to him when she was losing the voters.
Yeah.
Not just because I know the narrative is just among men, specifically black
Yeah.
men. She's not polling well.
Men, period.
But now women too.
yeah, women.
She's not
is
polling
worse,
well.
too.
So it's like I know they want to focus only on the black men because that's what they want to do. Anybody
Yeah.
can beat on them.
Right.
No one cares. But the fact that she's not polling well, let me tell you something. I guarantee you, behind closed doors, that the fact that they have to even consider a UFC comedian to talk to drives them up a wall that no one wants to hear from David Muir, and they want to talk about Joe Rogan.
The crazy thing is, like, you could look at him like that, but he is the number one
undeniable.
podcast in like 50 something countries.
Bro, they can't understand it because, like I said, she goes on Howard Stern.
Yeah,
What does that do?
nothing.
Right? He's a relic of the past. And the fact that they can't understand why
Yeah.
people want this to happen. They're so mad that they don't have a version of that that's
Yeah.
legitimate.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Because though they may try, like I said, with the Howard Stern and the girl from the
sex
daddy,
podcast.
the sex
Yeah.
podcast,
Yeah, yeah.
those things didn't resonate.
And they
People immediately
the
tore that
views were
apart.
terrible. She lost followers.
Right.
Yeah. I think I got
Who do they have on the other side that's even remotely close?
Not to that level.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's none. I mean, but Joe Rogan is not on a side. He's
Yeah. No,
very
he's not.
centrist.
Yeah.
He's very neutral.
Yeah. And he admits that too.
Yeah.
He doesn't try to hide that.
Right.
He stays neutral, but conservatives like him because
Because conservatives
he's
like
real.
something that's honest.
Yeah.
They don't. Conservatives have a more tendency to listen to things on the other side
Right.
than liberals do.
Right.
So
And he admits Joe Rogan has admit that he lived in California for a long time.
Yeah.
The reason he moved from California to Texas was because of the policies and what California once was. So he's talking about his lived experience. You can't tell him that,
Yep.
hey, that's not true. That is absolutely true for him. So he brought on people like Weinstein and Elon who have talked about why things are failing.
Yep.
So he's not just talking about fights. They want to reduce him to that, but he's actually having an open, honest conversation. Now, here's the thing. The reason why the news anchor system is failing is because of this. None of them would admit that New York is failing, California is failing, because their jobs are tethered to a massive salary. You want that $10 million a year, you're going to have to shut up. So they themselves can't understand why Joe is chosen. They don't know. They don't even understand that people like his honesty because they can't be honest.
Right.
They're so tethered to my $10 million salary. I'm the head anchor of ABC or 60 Minutes or whatever it is.
they have to stay on script.
They have to stay on script, and they could never say that New York is falling apart. They
Yeah.
could never say that crime is rampant. They could never speak out against these things. They may in their private life, but they'll never do it.
Right.
And Joe is not tethered to that. That's why.
Well, you see what happened when somebody speaks, the truth. Tucker's
Right.
gone,
Right.
fired.
He would be the only one. He's already on that side. But in terms of the left, there's really no one like that. Now Cuomo is pretending to be that, but it's too late.
So I want to show this other moment because this is something that Trump floated in the past, and then Joe asked him about it, and he confirmed it again. This is huge right here.
Did you just float out the idea of getting rid of income taxes and replacing it with tariffs?
Well, okay.
Were you serious about that?
Yeah, sure. But why not? Because ready? Our country was the richest relatively in the 1880s and 1890s. A president who was assassinated named McKinley. He was the tariff king. He spoke beautifully of tariffs. His language was really beautiful. We will not allow the enemy to come in and take our jobs and take our factories and take our workers and take our families unless they pay a big price, and the big price is tariffs. And he'd speak like that, but he was right. And then around in the early 1900s, they switched over stupidly to, frankly, an income tax. And you know why? Because countries were putting a lot of pressure on America. We don't want to pay tariffs. Please don't. You know, they, believe me, they control our politicians. If you look at the kind of numbers that these guys make then and now, but we had a commission meeting in the, I think it was 1887. Think of this problem. We were so rich, we had so much money, we didn't know what to do. So they set up a blue ribbon commission on tariffs. And the sole purpose is what to do with all the money we had. We were so rich because we were taxing other people for coming in and taking our jobs.
So he's bringing up using tariffs and eliminate income tax again. Something that was supposed to be temporary, by the way.
Right.
That they convinced everyone to do in the name of the war to help out. We all gotta do our part. What does that sound like? We're all in this together.
Right.
You remember that?
Nothing new under the sun.
Yeah. And it's something that they claim, that they say, we're just doing this for now, guys, to get out of this hole.
Right.
And then we're gonna be good. But they never go back. They never go back. That's why we still got to take our shoes off at the airport unless you get TSA pre-check.
Right.
Was this the last little clip right here from the podcast I wanted to show, and then we'll move on.
The rebels are Republicans now.
Oh yeah. This is the clip about him showing how the culture has shifted.
Sure.
And this is going to go right into the Madison Square Garden thing.
The rebels are Republicans now. They're like, you want to
Yeah,
be
I
a
never thought of
rebel,
it
you
that
want
way. I
to be
think
punk
you're right.
rock, you want to like
Yeah.
buck the system. You're a
Yeah.
conservative now. That's how crazy. And then the liberals are now pro silencing criticism. They're pro censorship online. They're talking
They
about
come after
regulating free speech and they're regulating the First Amendment. It's bananas to watch.
Joe, they come after their political opponent.
Well, they
I
do.
got more guys. I always say, I kid, but I'm not kidding. I've been investigated more than Alphonse Capone. He was the meanest of them all. He'd kill you in 2 seconds if he didn't like you, right? I've been under investigation more than Alphonse Capone, only because it's political opponent stuff. And I've won. I won the big case in Florida. I'm winning the other stuff. You win, but you know what they did? They did something that's only done in third world countries. They came after their political opponent.
Yes.
I could have put crooked Hillary in jail.
Well, not only that, but they're weaponizing it by saying that that's what you're going to do once
Oh,
you
yeah,
get in
yeah.
office.
Isn't it
by
great?
ignoring
He
what
is
they're
go-
doing right now. It's crazy.
I heard
That-
it.
that's literally the mark of a narcissist.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
To say you're doing
You're
something
doing the
and
thing
then
that
you
I'm
do-
doing. Yeah.
That's actually
That's gaslighting.
no, but that's actually in Morals and Dogma by Albert Pike. He says, "Accuse your enemy at all times of the things you do, and the public will eventually believe that." But you have to every time you get a chance,
You have to
always
accuse them.
You have to accuse them,
Right.
of doing that, and the more you do it, it'll resonate with people.
Mm-hmm.
Say exactly what you're doing, and accuse them of that.
And they'll never look at you for
They'll
doing
never
it.
look at you because you're exposing something to them, right?
But I thought that was interesting how he brought up how like the conservatives have become the rebels now. Where
That's
it's
true.
like when you look at everything, I mean, during COVID, how many times were we talking about like
Right.
don't just comply. You
Right.
know what I mean? Like
Going back to that though, it's just so interesting. Like another thing about being accused is the more and more you try to defend yourself,
Right.
the more
you look guilty.
not even look guilty, but you're actually playing into
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
to it. Because even like I tell my kids like in the games, because some of those teams, man, they're literally the worst teams, like the most disrespectful and like pushy team. You know,
Yeah.
they're the ones that will accuse the
Yeah.
kids of doing all this stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. And I tell them like, don't feed into it. Just
Right.
keep playing. Just don't worry about it.
Right.
And you see like when they do feed into it, that's what brings up the temperature and causes more problems. But when they ignore it and just keep playing their game, they get vindicated.
Right. And that can be applied to you as an individual, how you respond and react. You know what I mean? When when you're in an altercation or when something is happening,
Yeah.
your temperature is going to set the tone of how people are going to react. You know, if you get pulled over and you may not even be doing something wrong per se, but the minute you flare up, you've just heightened that situation.
Right.
Right. Same thing with if there's a confrontation with parents. These parties, you talked about the incident with Lacey and you guys. Had you guys come in guns blazing, right? Yes, instant validation, you guys get to beat him. But what if that guy had a gun on him?
Yeah.
Now you're dead.
Right. Or what if we get arrested because we look like the aggressors?
Right.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of ways you can take that and be like, this can be microscopic in terms of you, the individual, how to conduct yourself, or this can be an overarching thing where it's like how we should conduct ourselves as a people, as a nation, because that is important. How you control yourself and the need to feel to defend yourself because you're being accused does reflect a lot on who you are as a person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's interesting how like you can genuinely be a victim, but even if you are genuinely a victim, if you act in that way, it actually makes it worse for you.
Right. Sure.
Then you've been like think about like this is the foundation of what we put our faith in, which is Jesus. He was accused
Regularly.
by the world
Right.
for everything, right?
And
was sentenced to death
and never advocated for himself, allowed them to kill him for it.
and received the punishment on our behalf.
Right.
Right.
So we got to see that like in terms of our own lives. Like you're not going to bring peace in a situation if you don't accept that what's going on. I'm not saying that you have to accept it in your heart like, oh, that's who I am.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, maybe I am that. But no. You know who you are.
Right.
And you walk in that. And even that, like that will show people on the long run, not everybody.
Yeah.
Because the people who want to make up their minds and judge, they're going to make up their minds and judge, right? And they got their own issues inside. That's why they're making the judgments. But when we stand, there's so many people that be like, you know what? All the stuff they said about you isn't really adding up anymore.
And a lot of people are seeing that with Trump now.
Yeah.
You know, especially after watching a 3-hour interview, because there's so many people that watch Rogan's podcast that are not conservatives. They're either leftists or centrists or moderates or independents or don't really care about politics. Yeah. But they've heard so many bad things about Trump, but then they're watching this like, wait a minute, what? This guy's not.
And they also trust him too.
Yeah, they trust Joe.
We got somebody who's not conservative on our comments right now.
Okay, is he going crazy over there?
Gary LeConte. Debates in the rest of the world are 1 or 2 topics for 1 or 2 hours. Not about quote-unquote beliefs, but about quote-unquote facts. Republicans stop doing this because they are afraid of the facts. So they make a list of questions and they can twist the answers and mesmerize the answers. This show is not knowledgeable to the facts. Trump is just saying false historical facts. They don't know the truth to answer him. We need workers desperately. Just the 3 hurricanes. Clean and rebuilding alone, we need 4 million. America has rebounded from COVID, where Trump killed 300,000 more people than would have if he didn't lie for 3 to 4 months. This is all documented facts, and they can check and don't.
Okay. Like everything you said there it's based in belief and not in fact, because you just said Trump killed 300,000 people if he would have acted instead of lying for 3 months. I believe he did act. He shut down anyone coming in from China right away when Nancy Pelosi was out in Chinatown saying that it was xenophobic to stop people from coming in from other countries and everyone should go out to Chinatown and have a good time because nothing's going on.
Right.
I believe that Andrew Cuomo was the one that brought people into nursing homes that spiked the numbers up on the deaths that happened in the beginning of COVID. If you want to talk about
so
facts,
many things
we don't need to go back. We go back and watch our podcast during those times, dude.
There's so many things that happen, and that's why it's like you can't hash all this out.
Right.
It's a little bot right there.
And everything you're saying right there is nonsense. And even the part about Republicans changing the debate forum, that's not true. The debate forum changed as soon as TV got introduced. So you need to go back and check your facts on that. But anyway, Stan said on Rumble, Charlemagne is the closest. I think he's talking about the numbers on the podcast. Right. But let's get to the MSG situation. Or we can let's get to Shannon Sharpe. Let's go there because that's the comparison. So Kamala on Shannon Sharpe's podcast, right? So first, let's go to it. Let's take a look at it. Let me see. I'm gonna pull it up right now. Let's see, Kamala. I'm sure this is gonna come right up at the top.
Mm-hmm. Let me just add this in to that guy. When Trump was talking about the vaccine, remember the Democrats, the liberals were saying, "Don't take the Trump jab."
I'll never take it. Kamala was one of them.
Kamala was one of them.
They said, "I will never take a Trump vaccine."
Yeah, it's so interesting. You list all the facts you like.
Yeah, and we were critical,
quote unquote facts.
We were critical at Trump for trying to tell people to take the vaccine.
Right, and they were saying not to do it. They were saying don't take the vaccine.
Yep.
And then turns out when they got in, take the vaccine.
What changed in that time?
Yeah.
Absolutely nothing.
Yeah, something interesting. Republicans did it again.
All right, so let's go to the Club Shay interview with Kamala Harris, just for comparison. So we told you that, in less than 24 hours, the Trump interview had over 20 million views on Rogan. This came out on Sunday, but it's saying 1 day ago, and it's at 1.1 million views. Yesterday was at 500,000. I think a lot of people have been getting the numbers up for her. But let's look at these ratios. So the likes.
When you say number of people you Google?
Yeah. I'm sure this was easily searchable.
Right. At the top of the list.
Yeah, I mean, it came right up when I typed it in. So, I can see the likes and dislikes. How many dislikes do you think? I'm going to hide it so y'all can't
I'm going to say almost twice as much dislikes than likes.
Well, let's go with the likes. How much likes?
45,000.
45,000.
Out of a million views.
Out of a million views.
All right. I would say probably about maybe 20,000 dislikes.
How 45?
Yeah.
I'm going to say 70-something.
70-something
dislikes.
I saw it already.
You saw it already? 141,000 dislikes.
Dang.
141,000 dislikes.
Let me go ahead and add mine in there too. Jump on the bandwagon.
Let's go. Yeah. Let's go.
I saw it earlier.
That's more than 3 times.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. So let's go to the comments. Right. First comment is with the most replies, right, and most likes. Who else paused and ran straight to the comments?
That's funny.
That's the best part.
Next comment. Imagine the media team's faces when they're looking at analytics and the average watch time is 1.5 seconds. You see what I'm saying?
Wow.
So they use bots to get the numbers up.
Right. When it benefits them. Yeah.
Shannon, next comment. Shannon, congratulations for breaking a record for the most non-watch straight to the comments video in Club Shay history. Mm-hmm. Next comment. I grew up in a middle-class family that taught me the comment section is where we go first.
I always go to the comments.
Next comment. I made it through 10 minutes and feel like I fell out of a coconut tree in the middle-class neighborhood. Next comment. I grew up in a middle-class family that paused the video and went straight to the comments. Yo, everybody's roasting. The real MVP is Shannon's team for not turning off the comments. Laughing emoji. Never trust anyone that promised to do something tomorrow that they could have done yesterday.
Ooh, that's a big one.
Mm-hmm. The irony of all of us running to the comments only to find comments about us running to the comments. We're doing the same thing.
Right.
I'm reading these comments and just want you guys to know I grew up in a middle-class family. You ain't finna lie. Video hasn't even started and it looks like a lot of us are on the same page. Straight to the comments.
Right.
Yeah, so they roasted like
100 and what again?
141,000 dislikes. 141,000.
I didn't think it was
dislikes.
And that's his audience.
Yes. That's his
That's
YouTube channel.
Black.
So that's 10%, over 10%, right? It was like a million, went over a million views.
Just 1.1. So it's
Okay.
more than 10%.
More than 10%.
Yeah.
You said it was out when? Sunday?
Came out Sunday, I believe.
So now think
yeah.
about all the people who just started to watch it or went to the comments.
Yeah.
To just write a comment.
But that's why the average watch
views.
time is 1.5 because people turn it on and stop it and go to the comments just to
Right.
write a comment.
Right,
It's
right.
what?
1.5 seconds.
Seconds.
Right.
Woo.
So here's the thing: just because it has views doesn't mean it's positive,
Right.
Because obviously 40,000 likes,
Yeah.
right? 140.
1,000. Yeah.
Come on, man.
Yep. And somebody else on X was like,
Blacks for Trump.
hold up. Somebody else on X. I'm not gonna play the audio on this one because I have this video. I just want to show you. I'm gonna slow it down because he wanted everyone to see the live chat during the guy who was watching it, and he screenshotted it and put it up on X so people could see the comments in the live stream that are flying by. I'm gonna slow it down so we can read them. So I mean, the first ones you can see is. So there's a Trump for prison, 2024. I see that. And then it says, all lies will be exposed. Communism and lies. Shay about to get paid by all these mad Trumpers. What does it say? Did he offer her a drink? They said the same thing in 2020. How did that go? I think they're talking about the Trumpers because there's a bunch of people saying Trump 2024. And let me turn this off if we can see this. Trump 2024. Liar. What about child support? Go home, Kamala. Go home. Trump. Cackala. This lady crazy, downvote. Like it's not good.
Right.
It's not good. It's just a bunch of people.
That's the one thing about like the Shannon Sharp podcast.
Yeah.
It's kind of not interesting to me because of him.
Mm-hmm.
Like he doesn't push back or
Yeah.
he just laughs at everything.
Yeah.
So whoever he has on there, like he's not really pushing back.
He just lets them say whatever they want to say.
And it's not interesting to me
Yeah.
because it's just like, oh, they can say whatever they want, and it's becoming that kind of show.
Right.
Like, oh, they could just say whatever they want, and he's just gonna let them.
Right.
Cool, but that's boring. When it's
Right, because he's thinking that's the formula to go viral. That's all he cares about.
The clips. He did push back on Amanda Seals a little bit, but
He
not
did.
not in terms, just more a clarification of a teacher's role.
Yeah.
And that, she went crazy.
Yeah.
But
She went crazy.
you're right. He did push back on her a little bit. Maybe because something triggered in him.
Yeah.
Right.
Because if you look at like
She was rude to him the whole time.
Yeah.
So I think he was
That's
like,
probably
I
what
need
it
to get
was.
at you a little bit because she was being rude to him
Yeah.
and talking very condescending to him the whole time. But I wanted to play this moment because, like I told you, Candace has been going in on Kamala's past, digging up old friends, family members, finding relatives, and it's looking like everything she said about her past is a lie. And now when Shannon brings it up, watch how she kind of like moves this goalpost.
My mother, she understood that there is a community that she wanted her children to be raised in. And she was very intentional and purposeful about that. And so I always say to people, even when I took the stage as the nominee for the Democratic nomination, that, there is the family that you have by birth, and there is also the family you have by love.
Mm-hmm.
And they're equally family.
Yes.
Right? And I learned that from my mother. So my mother, I had all these aunties and uncles. My Uncle Sherman, who was one of the first black men to graduate from Berkeley School of Law.
So he's not really your uncle, though. He's not really your uncle.
When we were young girls, sat us down and taught us how to play chess.
Are y'all hearing music? Where is that coming from?
Because Uncle Sherman said, you need to understand how the chessboard works because that's the way the world works. There are going to be different players with different moves. And you need to see the whole board. My mother raised us around, like my Auntie Chris, who went to Howard in the 50s and pledged Alpha Kappa Alpha. And she was one of my incredible role models growing up. And that was one of the big reasons I wanted to go to Howard University and pledge Alpha Kappa Alpha. Those are some of the lessons that I've learned from my mother. And I try to also share with
So do you see what she's doing there? Do you see what she's doing there? She's showing you because, in her book, she used the image.
well, number one, she's doing what she always does, which is she never really answers the question.
Yeah,
Right. That's one thing she's doing.
Right.
But what she's specifically doing there is, I feel like she's trying to respond to the controversy around who her family is, and how Candace has uncovered that black woman that's in her book listed as her grandmother is not really her grandmother, and it's probably one of the plantation workers that she tried to, use to legitimize her blackness.
Right.
When they're digging into this. So now she's trying to frame it as in, like, just because they weren't my blood family doesn't mean they're not my family.
Y'all, hold up though. Y'all my family.
Black people do that.
I don't go around saying that I'm half Puerto Rican or Trinidadian.
But you could.
Yeah, exactly. I can't run for a city council as the first Cambodian, because I grew up around you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I know how to make.
And she realizes that she's not resonating the way she probably thought she would have.
Yeah.
So saying Howard and Alpha Kappa Alpha.
Yeah.
And my neighbor Rufus was frying chicken over there.
Mm-hmm.
She's trying to like say these things to like basically infer that there's some commonalities.
Yeah.
Like, see, I have an auntie, I have an uncle, we went to Howard, she's naming everything that kind of would trigger people to be like, oh yeah, you down with us, you know?
Yep.
Uncle Shay messed up though. He would have went really viral if he started pushing back on the Candace Owens stuff.
Yeah.
No, he ain't never gonna do that.
She only agreed to go on there because he was already a fan, and he was always going to try to paint her in the best light possible. Speaking of the Candace Owens thing, this was a little bit of one of her last episodes that she uncovered.
There was some strong evidence that pointed to the fact that somewhere along the line, Kamala had Jewish ancestors. Why is Kamala hiding aspects of her heritage? Like, why would you need to hide that you're Jewish? This isn't a country that's going to go, oh my gosh, well, she's married to a Jewish man, so it didn't make enough sense. But then we received this email. I saw your podcast about Kamala's Jamaican heritage. She's related to me. She also sent to us 5 pages of her family tree. And she's saying that Kamala descends from the Joseph line while her family continues on to the Ralph line, and that they were Jewish. And so this is the chart of Kamala's side that she's speaking about. And what's remarkable is I sort of went, okay, so you're telling me that your family were Sephardic Jews. Their family believes that they are intentionally blackwashing the Jewish parts of their identity. So where Kamala is Jewish, they are inserting this sort of nebulous black ancestry that doesn't actually exist. She keeps records. She has kept them all. And she's saying they are Sephardic Jews. And it's nothing that they're ashamed of. So this family is Jewish, okay? Kamala Harris is Jewish. And she's not addressing the fact that she's Jewish, which is extremely strange because they're trying to push this idea that she is black when in fact she isn't. And I believe that it's because he's Hindu somewhere. She said she was African American. Like, there is no African in this woman, okay? Jamaican percentage at most. Okay, Kamala, thus far you're like an Indian Canadian Jew. I wanted to show you the close-ups, by the way, of that paternal line of Kamala's. Like she's not just like, she's like exceedingly Jewish. It's kind of weird that we didn't know this. Can you give me the close-up of like the Joseph Harris at the top? Do you guys have it? I'm sorry to go backwards. This is her paternal line. And I'm not laughing. It's just like weird. I am laughing. No, I am laughing. I shouldn't take that back. I did just laugh, and you saw me do that live. But it's just like, once I saw the family tree, and I'm like, whoa, that's her great-great-grandfather, and this woman just out here being like,
that is a beard right
yeah,
there.
I'm black now. Whatever. Show me the other guy too. Like, yeah, this is Albert Harris, right? So this is Oscar Harris. This is like her grandfather's father. Like, I don't know. I don't feel like you can just like do that. I feel like you can't just be out here being Jewish and then just be like, nah, never mind, I'm black.
That's her dad's line. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? That's her dad's line. So there's a lot of questions at play, and she's been uncovering a lot of evidence that Kamala just completely is lying about her ancestry and her heritage and even her father. And dude, there's a lot of like, this dude she interviewed a couple days ago is an Asian guy who he was one of her colleagues. He used to work with her, and I think they went to school together for law school or whatever. But he said she was like, Kamala was failing out. She was like the worst in the class. And he said that Kamala's mother was involved in some MK Ultra program when she moved to Canada. She got involved in that in the government. Her mother, and was involved in like some communist stuff. You got to watch it. It's interesting. Like this dude, he wrote a column about her
you're
years
talking about
ago.
the guy from Japan?
From Japan, yeah, he's from Japan. Yeah, did you watch that?
Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
yeah. I'll have to watch it.
Yeah, but you gotta see.
Send
that.
me a link when you get a chance.
Yeah. But apparently her mother was like, her mother was involved in some stuff, you know, and you know her father is a Marxist and a Marxist professor, and
so was Obama's dad.
Yeah, yep. Yeah, I mean, it's no coincidence that these people have these weird, sketchy pasts.
Gary's still going.
I mean, Gary, give it up, dude.
Gary's a bot. Gary's an agent.
No, Gary has TDS, and he.
Gary's real. He's.
So let's show a little clip from Umar breaking down why it's important about Kamala's ancestry.
Here's where I stand. When I look at Kamala's ancestry, and let me be clear about something. Whether she's black or not black ain't my biggest issue. It's what she going to do for black people.
Right.
The reason Kamala's race has become such a big issue in this election, Brother Nick, is because it's the only thing they're selling the black community in exchange for their vote. So the only thing they've given us has been identity politics. Stay with me.
Okay.
You follow me? Not a word about schools, not a word about prisons, not a word about gentrification, not a word about police extermination, not a word about economic apartheid. All we're hearing is she's a black woman and we should vote for her. If she led with policy, Nick,
Right.
I don't even think we will be talking about her racial ancestry if she led with policy. Donald Trump is not black. He's not claiming to be. So there's no need to talk about Donald Trump's ancestry. We can stick to what? Donald Trump's policies.
Right.
But because the black bourgeoisie that is surrounding Kamala Harris is telling black America to vote just because she's black.
They just sent Michelle out.
That is true.
They just sent Michelle out.
He nailed it.
Yep.
He nailed it.
Automatically, that means what? We have to make sure she is black.
Right. And now, we were saying that before, there is definitely classism in the black community, which is the black elites, the gatekeepers, we call them, controlling the lower level, which they feel to be the black people that just should be told what to do. When you watch them speak, they're speaking down to. They're not asking, hey, what policies do you want? They're demanding that you vote. They're demanding that you just follow them blindly. You saw that when Obama made that speech. And he actually, here's the thing that's crazy about that speech that he made. He wasn't talking to undecided. He was talking to constituents.
Yep.
He was sitting in a room of people that already were
were part of the campaign.
So that was all a charade. And that's he's not speaking to men. He's not sitting down with. It would be one thing had he sat down with a group of men and said, hey, fellas, it's come to my attention that this is happening. I want to know why.
Right.
It could
go to the barbershop or something. Yeah.
Could this be an issue?
Yeah.
But all of that was fake. It's
for show.
It's set up. So it's like he's disingenuous in his, I want to talk to the brothers about what I'm going through and you not voting. That's fake.
Pretty good.
That was really good. That was good.
That's fake. You know what I mean? So he's not genuine. And that's what people are pointing out. Not only is he tongue lashing, but you're not genuine.
Yeah.
You're not speaking to people who are undecided because you don't care about people who are undecided. You speaking to your constituents because this is the narrative you want to push out. That's what's going on.
And Kamala's response when Shannon asked is trying to lie and scare black people into he's going to take you back to slavery. Let's watch that clip real quick.
Blacks for Trump. They feel that Trump is better for the black community.
This is bad.
Can you explain Donald Trump's history with blacks? Where did this come that all of a sudden, I mean, it's been like this because a lot of people used to say, I'm Donald Trump of the ghetto because he was, I mean, for a lot of blacks, not all, but for some blacks, he was, Madam VP, whether we want to admit it or not, he's revered by some blacks.
But here's the thing. The question for everybody, should he be president of the United States?
Okay.
Right?
He's already been.
That's the question.
He already did. And
should he have the ability to sit behind the seal of the president of the United States?
I knew she was going to say that because you know that's been her like talking point at every campaign rally when she does that.
The question should be,
he should never be able to sit behind the seal.
But the funny thing is, That's what we should be asking her.
Right.
We don't know who she is.
Exactly. Should you be president? That's the question everyone has.
Right.
And you don't answer that question.
The past you had, how you gotten.
Right. But then she goes on to totally lie.
And he says he wants to terminate the Constitution of the United States.
Not true.
When
You know what that would mean? In the Constitution of the United States is your Fourth Amendment right against unreasonable search and seizure. Your Fifth Amendment right. Your Sixth Amendment right to an attorney.
You see how she went right to the black amendment, the one that would affect the black search and seizure, because y'all committing all them crimes. She didn't go to freedom of speech. She didn't go to.
But the fact, like, I'm sorry, but if you can say something like that,
yeah,
that's problematic. Like, that's scary to say. He wants to rewrite the Constitution.
Yeah. No, eliminate
or do away with it.
Eliminate the Constitution.
Not factual at all.
This stuff is like, to say that as a talking point.
Right.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
But that's why people get on the chat and talk about facts and feelings. Like, this is all feelings right here.
Yeah.
Right. And what I think about someone like her is this. She didn't actually answer the question.
No.
She goes right into talking point.
Donald Trump. This is what she does
Right.
to answer every question.
So I think this is where, let's go back to the Joe Rogan thing, because Shannon is not going to push back.
No.
So Joe would have said, where did you hear that from?
Yeah.
Where are you getting
When
this
did he
from?
say that?
When
Yeah.
did he say that?
Yeah.
And you see, she loves when you ask a question and she would be like, all right, I'll take it from here.
Right.
Talking points.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Just-
And I'm going to filibuster.
Let's start with this.
I'm going
Right.
to take 3 minutes to answer a 20-second answer
And I'm not
question.
gonna answer nothing.
And I'm never going to answer
Right.
it.
And I think this is why the format of sitting down to have a conversation is never going to happen.
Yeah.
Because she doesn't want to be corrected. And she doesn't want to have to answer where she got these facts from, because she's just saying stuff.
Yep.
You know, she's really trying to scare people. That's all it is.
That's what I said. She's trying to put black people in fear. Here goes another example of that right here.
But it's not
But
working.
what he would do that is about eliminating or reducing the ability of corporations to be required to pay overtime pay
So you could work and the corporations wouldn't have to pay you for it.
for overtime.
Who work for free?
That's right. And overtime means you are actually working a longer day, which means you are more tired.
Right.
Which means it requires more exertion. That's why we have overtime pay.
So where are you getting
And y'all
this
know
from?
y'all got a bunch of kids. Y'all got to go home to feed them.
Right. But
Can't with that overtime
she's
now.
blatantly lying about his proposal
That makes
on
no
overtime.
sense.
He's
You know-
talking about not paying taxes on your overtime hours. That has nothing to do with eliminating overtime. What are you talking about?
I love how she tries to explain overtime, but people
I
don't know
know.
the concept.
Right. That means you're working more hours. Like,
Well, Ukraine
thank
is
you.
a small country
for your information.
next to Russia, a bad country.
Yeah, but that's why people are tired of this type of like being talked down to, like we're idiots.
Right.
You
Right.
know?
Gary's talking
Morning.
down,
That
talking down
means
to
the
us.
sun comes up.
Let Gary let Gary get out all his rage and his TDS. I don't even know why you're paying attention.
Because it's
to
funny.
It.
The stuff that he's saying. He's saying. I'm
Well,
gonna say
no,
one. I'm
no.
gonna say one. We have the best economy we have ever had in history. I just wanted y'all to laugh real fast.
Yo, that is
My
funny.
pockets don't say that when I go to the grocery
Right,
store.
come on, dude.
Gary.
There's no
Come on,
one.
dude.
You can't say that to anyone around you that is not full of Trump derangement syndrome. That is an honest person that will not laugh in your face, bro. Like, come on. Anyway, let's get on to the next clip of her lying.
So, part of what we have to help people understand is don't think you're in Donald Trump's club. You're not.
Right.
He's not going to be thinking about you. You think he's having you over for dinner?
Why are you?
She's sounding
why
real
are
black,
you-
yo.
Yeah.
She's
Why?
sounding
Are you,
not gonna
real
be.
black.
He not going to be.
Yo, but they
not gonna
they've said that it's fine that she does this. It's called code switching. This is what
Not gonna
everybody
be.
does.
That's right.
Switching.
It's code
Shannon
switching.
not going to be, baby. Not going to be.
Code switching. Yep.
He not going to be.
Let's
but
watch
but
this.
the thing is, she's only doing it when she's condescending
Yeah.
to you. Like, it's all condescending.
Right.
You doing it when she does it in the church. You know.
But that concept, like you're not in Donald Trump's club, like what are you talking about? They're trying to make it seem like he's racist. He doesn't really like you. He's only going to help out his billionaire friends like that. He already did 4 years in office.
Right.
Where are you getting this from?
This is all just.
It's trigger language, really.
It's all.
Well, it's not working.
Yeah. It's you're trying to make something stick. You know what I mean? But it's not based off of any facts.
Right.
Yep.
Come on, dude.
Let's watch one
shame.
more example of her a couple minutes apart
Being
contradicting
able to
herself.
see what is possible. And
Oh no, this is her going to her
Unburden.
unburdening and unburdening.
being able to see what is possible and not be burdened by other people's limited ability to see the same. You cannot ever be burdened by other people's limited ability to understand who you are. Like, don't let their limited ability burden you about your own ability.
And you
Shay is like, what are you talking about?
No, Shannon.
You know what's funny is like if she went on Rogan, I think he would point out like, you say that a lot, right?
Yeah.
The burdening, unburdened thing. Like,
Right. She definitely went to Howard because she's a poet.
yeah,
Spoken words.
definitely a poet. Yeah. So that was the interview, and then you can see why it's getting so many dislikes because it is terrible. But then another huge event happened. I think simultaneously while this was dropping, Trump was doing his rally at MSG.
Yeah, you should play the Beyonce booing. Come on.
Oh, we'll get to that. But I just want to show a little bit of this so we can get through the Trump at MSG thing. Some of the images here. Mom, pull it. Oh, you got it up already. So this is in New York. This is in New York City.
Races. Look,
These
black,
are
Indian.
No, these are all Nazis, bro. These are all Nazis.
Nazis.
Come on.
These are all Nazis. So
An Indian Nazi?
these are people, mind you, that were lined up for a whole day waiting for the event out in the street.
In New York.
In New York. Nazis. Okay, I just want you all to be clear that we have a bunch of Nazis out there. Let's get some more of these images of Nazis. Nazis. Yes.
Asian Nazi with
Asian
a black
Nazis. This is the images out there at night. This was after the thing let out. Look at all these people in the streets.
That's great.
Look how the place was packed. 20,000 people inside.
Right.
They're estimating on the outside that couldn't get in. It was from 70 to 90,000 people outside of the place that could not get in. But meanwhile, the leftist media was taking pictures way before the event started, saying it's only half full. Trump can't bring any crowds out.
2 people was there.
But this woman right here, I was telling y'all about it earlier. This might be my new favorite Asian in the world right here. She went super viral, bro.
Let's see what this Nazi has to say.
Let's listen to this Nazi.
Chinese first generation, we love Trump from our bottom of the heart because we know Trump is the only one can save America. Kamala is so stupid. She is so low. IQ equal no qualification to be the president. You shall stay away from that position. You already lost the position. You lost our trust. You lost our vote. You just need to go home, to stay home. You cannot do anything to save America. You are so stupid. You don't know anything. You cannot even answer any question from the camera, from all the media. How you can be on the stage to fight for America, to protect American people, to protect all the world. You are not qualified. You just need to go home. Let Trump to save America, to save the world, to put America first. If America to be strong, to be safe,
She's still going,
and
bro.
then America can save the whole world. Trump, we love you. We love you forever. Never ever surrender. Fight, fight, fight. Fight for Trump. Fight.
Yo, that lady killed it right there, yo. And she gave me my new soundboard sound.
Kamala is so stupid.
I think she's my favorite Asian too.
And she never buys. Hurry up and buy.
Yeah.
Gary said, you...
Why are we... Let Gary keep commenting and helping.
he said, I challenge you to a debate.
Oh, my God, Gary. Gary. Just keep commenting, please. You're helping with our algorithm right now. But, so, like I said, those were all Nazis out there. And the reason why I know that is because listen to how MSNBC framed this event. Look at all those people in that arena. They didn't even need Beyonce to get all those people in there.
But that jamboree happening right now, you see it there on your screen, in that place is particularly chilling because in 1939, more than 20,000 supporters of a different fascist leader, Adolf Hitler,
Is this the crying black guy?
attacked the garden for a so-called pro-America
This is the
rally.
crying black guy.
A rally
No.
where
Is
speakers
that-
voiced anti-Semitic rhetoric from a stage draped with Nazi banners. When a Jewish protester rushed the stage, the Associated Press reported, quote, instantly, a dozen or more stormtroopers set upon him, knocking him down and beating him as he held his head in his arms.
What
Most
does this
of his
have to
clothing
do?
was torn from his body. Later,
They are
he was
trying to
booked for
equate this rally with a Nazi rally that happened in 1930 something. Like literally framing it that way. Calling all these people in there Nazis.
disorderly conduct. Now, against that backdrop of history, Donald Trump, the man who has
Against
threatened
that-
to use the military against opponents he calls enemies from within, who has threatened to use the troops to quell what he says are lawless cities, and to use those troops to carry out mass deportations of immigrants,
Can we
is once
say
again
perception?
turning
Like,
Madison
they're
Square
literally trying
Garden
to
into a
give you
staging
the
ground for
image?
extremism.
So this story, of course, comes after that fake October surprise that they tried to drop, where Kelly came out and said that, there was no sources, but someone heard that maybe, possibly, just like the suckers and losers thing, these made up stories that they put out there in the media, that Trump said he loves Hitler, or he wishes he had the same generals Hitler had. Remember, he came out and said this. So this gave them the ammunition to start framing him as Hitler and a Nazi. And this is a guy that they've already tried to kill twice but they never want to take accountability for their rhetoric. Right. When you're constantly framing someone and all of their supporters as Nazis and Hitler, and don't want to acknowledge how dangerous that is, so they're doing that, and then they're like the Kelly thing. But then this is one of the people coming out and debunking that story right there.
Pictured here with President Trump and Kelly during his service. You see him in between Mike Pence and General Kelly there in that picture on the left-hand side. He posted this to X yesterday, quote, I have avoided commenting on intra-staff leaks or rumors or even lies as it relates to my time at the White House. But General Kelly's comments regarding President Trump are too egregious to ignore. I was with each of them more than most, and his commentary is patently false.
Okay, so that's Nick Ayers, who was part of that team, coming out and saying that he's completely lying. You're talking about someone who's already disgruntled because, him and Trump didn't get along because he lied about Trump about exiting Syria when Trump wanted to get out of Syria. A lot of people don't understand this. Like, Trump was the most anti-war president of our lifetime.
There was none under him.
He was trying to pull out of all these places. Syria, Afghanistan, we know for a fact. He told them to start pulling out of Syria. They lied to him and told him that they were and weren't behind his back. Kelly was one of those people. So when you start seeing them trying to frame him as this Nazi, it's because they don't like him. They're disgruntled. Right. And here's AOC adding to that rhetoric about what this rally was at Madison Square Garden.
So, Congressman, last night, right here in New York City, your hometown, Donald Trump held a packed rally at Madison Square Garden, and a number of speakers used downright racist and offensive language, no more so than the so-called comedian who said that Puerto Rico was an island of garbage. Can you just give us your reaction to what you heard last night, just hours and hours of frankly, hate, and what, frankly, how it could electrify
hours and hours of hate.
Well, there's a couple of things. As you mentioned, this was a hate rally.
Mm-hmm. First of all, people are saying AOC looked like she might be pregnant. What you think?
She look a little chunky.
Looking a little bit chunky in the face.
It was not just a presidential rally. This was also not just a campaign rally. I think it's very important for people to understand that these are mini January 6th rallies. These are mini Stop the Steal rallies.
Mini.
These are rallies to prime an electorate into rejecting the results of an election if it doesn't go the way that they want. Because Donald Trump and that entire cadre of people up on that stage, Stephen Miller, etc., do not respect the law of the United States of America. And they
Right.
either want to win this election
Right.
or they are using rhetoric of taking it by force. That is what they mean, and that's what they're doing when they are inciting violence and hatred against Latinos, against Black Americans, against Americans who don't have
Latinos.
children, against, I mean, you have J.D. Vance literally talking about watering down people's right to vote depending on if they can viably carry a child or not. We have to understand that.
Yo, they are so deranged. Like they are seething.
They don't have a sense of humor.
No, they're just seething at the fact that Trump could fill Madison Square Garden in New York and get that type of response.
Right.
They are losing their minds.
The sense of humor thing don't make sense, but like that's a whole different story.
What do you mean?
Like-
They do it on purpose. They know that J.D. Vance is saying it. You know, he didn't really mean it. He's saying it.
Well, the whole cat
Kinda-
lady thing he said years ago. He didn't say that during the campaign at all. But she's using that as a,
Yeah. I was talking about the other dude.
Oh, the Tony Hinchcliffe thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna get to that. Let's watch Mika Brzezinski losing her mind over this.
Dictators, his obsession with Hitler that has now come out, what he has said about our veterans, and what he wants to do with the military against his political adversaries. It's all huge news. This is the future that we're looking at in the next Trump term, if there is one. But this is what voters know right now, that he is killing us. I'm talking about us women. He's killing us. He is putting us at risk. He is making us afraid to have babies. He is putting our reproductive health at risk, and some women have died already because of this. So we can see right now what's coming. These headlines, and very good reporting, by the way, that shouldn't be questioned by idiots about what Trump has said about Hitler. That's incredibly important to know.
Very good. She's saying
it shouldn't be questioned.
You're
Don't even question.
You're an idiot if you question it.
Whoa.
Even though they have no sources, they have no released no evidence besides an anonymous source, which used to be illegal to do if you were a news outlet. You used to have to verify 3 different sources.
Right.
So, I mean, I'm just showing examples of how the media is. I think this
Especially
extreme
MSNBC.
Oh
like,
yeah,
they're-
but I mean the level that they're ramping it up to.
Yeah.
They're angry. They're scared.
But
they're desperate.
Are you telling me they're not trying to instill fear in people?
Of course they are. But not only fear, anger. Things that are going to make people do things like they've been doing, like try to kill somebody or
they're inciting people.
Or find justification
Right.
in what. When Trump won last time, what were people doing? They started riding out in the streets. They started setting up autonomous zones. They started burning down cities. They started looting. But they want to frame the January 6th thing all the time. But this is what was going on for months.
And what they're doing is they're inciting people. They're giving people a predictable response, which is they're passionate about it. They're not going to physically go out and do anything.
Yeah.
They're just basically giving you the matches.
Yeah.
They're like, here you go burn this down.
It's like when they knew the George Floyd riots were coming and they set up a bunch of piles of bricks out of nowhere. It's like, what are those for? I
Right.
wonder. Here's a video of people showing all the Nazis in the crowd.
Hey, America, I'm over here at Madison Square Garden, and I just bumped into a few Nazis. You a Nazi? No, I'm not. How about you? But I will kill a nigga. You seen any Nazis around here? You seen any Nazis around here?
Like, why I'm showing that is like the insult's not working anymore. People are leaning into it. Like people are like, okay, I'm a Nazi then. You know what I mean?
I'm gay and I'm black and I'm all these different things. And I've just been reliably informed by so many liberals on the internet that if I was ever around a bunch of Trump supporters, I would get attacked and, they would call me names and I would be in physical danger of my safety. And it's really crazy. It's almost as if all of these people were lying. It is almost as if these people had a vested interest in telling lies about people that supported Donald Trump. It's almost as if those people that were telling me that that was what would happen to me if I went to a Trump rally actually wanted these things to happen. I've been in the Trump rally for a couple of minutes now. We were all outside. People have been giving me love. People have been taking photos with me. I've experienced nothing but love around all of these people that I've been reliably informed were so evil and so hateful. It's almost as if people on the left lie. It's almost as if the mainstream media does not want us to come together.
Mm-hmm. This is another dude talking about how this is on MSNBC, talking about how the Nazi thing isn't working.
I've heard so much about Trump being angry and he's a fascist and a dictator, but problem is when I listen to him, I don't hear any of that. I've heard.
Yeah, that's the problem, because only people that are listening to that are people that aren't paying attention. But in the midst of all of that, they brought in Tony Hinchcliffe, Kill Tony, to open up the show and do what he does. And he made a plethora of jokes. And this is the one that the media they was waiting for, the one thing that they could latch on to try to spin this into the racist Nazi rally that it was going to be. And this is Tony Hinchcliffe making a bad joke.
Roaster?
He's a roaster. He's trying to make he's used to being on Kill Tony, which is his podcast that he does every Monday night where they make jokes. And it's people say offensive stuff on there, you know, but what I think where they dropped the ball was this is a campaign rally and you can't just let anything fly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You have to have some kind of standard and decorum. But let's play the joke real quick.
A lot going on. Like, I don't know if you guys know this, but there's literally a floating island of garbage in the middle of the ocean right now. Yeah. I think it's called Puerto Rico. Okay. All right. Okay. We're getting there. Again.
But as you can see, the crowd didn't like the joke. They booed him. You know what I mean?
But that was in reference to, I'm not trying to make excuses. That was in reference to Puerto Rico does have a trash problem. And there has been problem about the waste management and what's been going on.
Yeah, there's been corruption,
right?
And I'm going to show that. I'm going to show that.
And I agree, but I agree with you. I think that was in poor taste, and I think we're so close now. Don't. There's nothing.
There's nothing to gain from that.
No, nothing.
Yeah, and all you did was give them ammunition. You know, and
he's not going to be thinking in that way. But if you're going to bring him on there,
you gotta make sure. So Bad Bunny came out and said he's voting for Kamala now.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, because
He looked like
you made a joke about Puerto Rico.
Did he find that dress in the trash?
How about that one?
He found that at Diddy's house.
Yeah. It's funny because someone mentioned that how like all these people that are connected to the Diddy guest list have been coming out for Kamala and droves.
Listen, it's favors now.
Yeah, right. So this is Jon Stewart's reaction to it. Let me see.
Headlines for all the wrong reasons. A comedian who offered unfunny, racist, cringeworthy jokes.
Basically calling Puerto Ricans trash.
The most repulsive racial jokes about Latinos.
Disgusting and hateful.
So incredibly.
It's funny because people were showing that at Kamala rallies, they have comedians on there. Like, and George Lopez made a joke about Mexicans being thieves. Yeah.
Right.
And there's no outrage for that,
right,
you know. But of course, there's always a double standard, and they're going to latch on to anything.
Crude. Frankly, just too X-rated to play here.
Extremely vile so-called jokes.
Extremely vile so-called jokes. She name-checked my comedy album from the 90s. Did I really? Now, obviously, in retrospect, having a roast comedian come to a political rally a week before Election Day and roasting a key voting demographic, probably not the best decision by the campaign politically. But to be fair, the guy's really just doing what he does. I mean, here he is at the Tom Brady roast.
I'm not going to show that because that is very vulgar. But I'll show his reaction to it.
Yes, of course. Terrible. Boo. Yes.
And John likes him, by the way.
Yeah.
There's something wrong with me. I find that guy very funny. So I'm sorry. I don't know what to tell you. I mean, bringing him to a rally and have him not do roast jokes, that'd be like bringing Beyonce to a rally and not have... Oh.
Yeah, so Jon Stewart threw a little shot at everybody.
Yeah, bad move on them. Like we agree on that.
Yeah,
That wasn't
agree.
smart.
That's not good. What
Yeah.
they did, stupid.
It was a dumb move, but all the faux outrage, like the bottom line is
they're looking for anything. Bro.
They're looking for anything.
Grasping for straws now.
And now they're like, you know, all of these Puerto Rican celebrities, J-Lo, you know, all these people are coming out and saying, I'm not voting. You never were voting. You were never voting for Trump. Yeah. And it's not going to move the needle. Let's be honest about that. But let's show a couple reactions from some Puerto Ricans.
At the Trump rally in MSG, great time. When I left the rally, lo and behold, I had no idea that the headlines would be a joke that a comedian made. So everyone's focusing on him. But what about the crowd? When he did that joke, it fell flat in the room. The crowd didn't like the joke. They gave him like that's what he said. Okay, we're getting there. Because it didn't really fall well with the crowd. The MAGA crowd. Okay? So you're focusing on the comedian when the crowd did not like the joke at all. But you notice that is the only thing the left has to hold on to. It was nothing about Tulsi. It was nothing about Vivek. It was nothing about Tucker. It was nothing about any of the prominent speakers there. There were about a dozen or more speakers there. So they found someone all the way down low in the totem pole that made a joke. Oh my God, yes, it's offensive. I get it. You guys are offended. Did it offend me? No, I love comedy. I laugh at every freaking thing. Again, I was born in a different age.
Yeah, we get it. And I'll play the video of the one where the guy was breaking down what's going on in Puerto Rico.
That comedian at the Trump rally in Madison Square Garden, what he called Puerto Rico, not Puerto Rican, Puerto Rico, the island, is a floating garbage. Well, if you actually do some homework, you know that is true. Let me show you a clip that outlined that problem. And its funny things is, for the first fucking time ever, most of us know about this issue.
It's messy and it's more than just trash. Puerto Rico is drowning in garbage. Overflowing landfills are a daily sight, and it's not just an eyesore, it's a health hazard. The current administration poured billions of dollars into fixing this crisis. But where did that money go? Not into solving the problem, that's for sure. Instead, funds were misused, pocketed, and vanished into thin air.
Like San
Corruption runs
Francisco.
deep, leading to multiple arrests. Local officials who were supposed to manage relief funds were caught red-handed. Imagine the impact on ordinary citizens. Communities are left to deal with the toxic fallout. Their health, environment, and quality of life are all at risk. The sad truth is, until corruption is rooted out, no amount of money will fix Puerto Rico's trash crisis. It's time for accountability and real change.
So let me get this straight. That comedian triggered a nerve, and the Democrat run with it because they know most of the people are fucking brainwashed and brain dead to do simple Google research or homework to understand what the issue is. So if you heard in the video, billions of fucking dollars being dumped onto that fucking island, and where the money goes. The people that lives there are suffering, living in rat infestations environment. That fucking fallout of all that debris, all that diseases that could go happening from there. And guess whose administration was responsible for all that shit? This is this current administration. So if you want to blame and point a finger at anybody, understand the difference between when that comedian called Puerto Rico, as in the island, as in the people running the island, not the Puerto Rican people. And one other thing is, between Latins and Arabs, most of you fucking Americans don't understand. We make fun of each other's and we fucking criticize each other's left and right. And that's just...
I know, it just is, yeah. But we get it. So, I mean, they're trying to make it into a bigger, a huge issue. This is why Trump is racist. First of all, Trump never, those comments didn't come from Trump. I know, Mom, somebody told you that Trump said that. Yeah. People jump on that thing.
Yeah, I literally seen somebody post it, and then he took it down.
Post what?
That Trump said that.
Oh.
Then he took it down when he actually found out.
That he didn't say that, yeah. Trump, this is Trump speaking about Puerto Rico.
We just got back from Puerto Rico together, and it was really quite a sight. We're doing a great job there, and they are great, great people. They are great people. They've been through a lot. Thank you. We are also praying for the people of Puerto Rico. We love Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico.
Puerto.
And we also love Puerto Rico. And we're marshaling every federal resource at our disposal. Earlier this week, I traveled to
Yeah, you get it. So, yeah, like, the way they're trying to frame it, Trump hates Puerto Rico, blah, blah, blah. It's just all nonsense.
And that was a misstep on their part for bringing on a roaster. That had nothing to do with election. Just
They didn't vet his jokes, man.
Right.
I gotta show this.
That's what we talked about earlier. That's the mistakes that can happen.
Yep.
You know, when you're more free and you're like,
when you don't have a team that's trying to be so structured.
Because Trump went to their thing because you know they got the guy who does the Trump
Shane Gillis.
impersonation.
Yeah.
You went to that?
Trump didn't go to Kill Tony.
He didn't.
No,
Somebody.
No, Shane dressed up as Trump and did a great impersonation of him.
Was it?
So he did such a great job. You thought it was Trump.
Yeah.
No. So, but they were in the same room, weren't they?
I don't think so.
You sure?
I don't think they've ever been in the same room together.
That they were he was talking and Trump was laughing. Anyway,
no, I never seen that. But if you,
I will say just on a personal level, like I'm not a fan of the
roast
roasting
comedy.
stuff,
Yeah,
and I think it's it's bad culture.
Yeah,
it's just
I can see that.
Too far.
I can see that.
But it's funny because I didn't even see it, right? And when the person called me, I said,
She called me right away.
I bet you that's a lie. And I said, I'm going to research it. And then I called Jamie.
Yeah.
He was like,
That's-
no,
I'm her
wasn't
research.
He said, yeah. He said,
I'm gonna research it. Call my son.
but he said he didn't even say that. It was a comedian.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
But Trump did say something about his white skin that triggered Al Sharpton.
Oh, God.
You know, when you're a Nazi and you're at a Nazi rally, you can't mention white skin. So let's play this little clip from Al Sharpton on MSNBC trying to tease people into this racism.
But let's also go to what Donald Trump himself said last night, that some of the black men groups that I've been debating about why they can't be with Trump,
Again, the black gatekeeper talking about how he's got a debate with black men, how they shouldn't vote for Trump. Keep them in line.
Keep
saying it.
Yep.
I could be laying out in the beach with my white skin getting tanned. I mean, this is Donald Trump's mouth saying this. So I said to those on the fence, this is not a real racial signal. My pretty, white, beautiful, white skin. Donald Trump said this last night at his homecoming.
He said that.
Wait a second.
Pretty white
beautiful.
skin.
Come on, dude. You're adding these things. Let's go back and think of the context.
Yeah.
Because I can think of it without even seeing what he said.
What do you think the context
Pretty sure
was?
the context is he's saying he's white being in the sun. That's what he's trying to say.
We're going to see the context.
Okay.
The greatest resorts in the world. I could have been extremely happy. I could have had those beautiful waves smack me in the face. I could have had the beautiful suntan. This white skin could have been tan and beautiful.
The opposite of what he said.
Exactly. Like
the opposite of what he said. He's talking about the fact that he didn't need the run.
I don't think these people know how the internet works. I don't think they do.
He was trying to explain the fact, and he says this at most of his rallies. He goes into this like, I was good. I was making money. But I could have retired. I didn't have to run. I could have been on the resort with. And he said the sun tanning this white skin could have been tan.
He don't got no.
Could have been tan and beautiful.
Right. Yeah. But it's obvious. If you're gonna,
it's like he's making fun of himself.
Right.
You know
Exactly.
what I mean? To me,
That's what he's
that's what I
doing.
got because his skin. Is
but the fact
he
that
don't
you
need,
do that,
he don't
man,
need to do the spray tan.
it's so disingenuous.
So he was the orange man. Now he's the two white man. Like, what's going on?
Yeah. Well, it's they have to try to scare people into
Right, no
not
matter what he
voting,
says,
no
yeah.
matter what he says. Oh, that's a signal. This beautiful, pretty white skin, like.
But
he
listen,
never said
they
that.
did this stuff. They did this stuff before.
Yeah.
And even the insurrection stuff, I saw so much stuff about how they're trying to make it like he really was trying to take over, you know.
Yeah.
But it's obvious that wasn't going to happen. It's obvious, like, people acting like nothing happened with the election.
Mhm.
It was all good, and he tried to throw this stuff in there and make it like there was something that there was never anything there, you know, all that stuff.
Yeah.
But it's not working.
Right. It's not.
That's the thing. It's not working.
Yeah.
Like, you're trying to do what you did before. It's not working. It's working with the lefties.
With the people that already hate him.
Already hate him. That are already.
But it's making them even more psychopathic, I feel like.
Yeah.
Like,
it's making them more divisive.
Yeah.
And it's making them more mad at people
But-
who are going to vote for Trump.
It's also making, like, people have tried to kill him.
Yeah.
Like, you don't want to take no responsibility for that. But when you keep ramping up the rhetoric like this, like, watch this clip from The View.
All of you. Talking about you, it's us. He's not going to, you know, say, oh, you're with a white guy, I'm going to keep you from being deported. No, he's going to deport you and put the white guy with someone else. The man is out there.
He's also,
She's going crazy. She's
loony.
losing it. He's gonna deport you and put the white man with someone else.
Right. Hey, what happened to your wife? Trump deported her and put me with this other lady over here.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I want to show. This is an example. This is a guy who is probably on the same. What was this guy's name that was commenting?
Gary.
He's probably Gary's friend.
Yeah. Oh, Gary's still
No,
still
that's
commenting,
fine.
man.
That's fine. This is probably Gary's friend right here. Gary agrees with this guy right here. Let's play this guy's clip because this is what we're talking about.
All right, worst case scenario, Trump.
It is
gets
Gary.
elected. Here's the game plan if that happens. The general rule of thumb from now on is: will the MAGA heads use it to attack someone? If so, keep your mouth shut. You no longer know that any of your trans friends are trans. You no longer know that any of your non-Christian friends are non-Christian. You no longer know that any of your friends, family, or neighbors are left-leaning at all. Anyone that you don't know tries to talk about politics around you, you shut that shit down immediately because that is fishing for information and people they can report. Anyone tries to instigate a protest or a riot, they are also fishing for people that they can report. Anyone you know who is an immigrant, you are now going to tell anyone who asks that they have been living in America their
This
whole life.
is TDS to the fullest.
Lives. Because if you are not among the people who need to flee for their own safety, you are part of the people who are helping them flee. You do not brag about the people you have helped. You do not tell others about the people you have helped. You keep your mouth shut about all of it on every single possible forum. Anyone asks you about politics, you reply, who has time to talk about politics? And nothing else. Someone asks you your opinion on global warming. You say, I don't talk about politics. Someone asks your opinion on wages and unionization. You say, I don't talk about politics. Someone asks about your opinion on the basic...
You get it. This is another minute of this, him just fear-mongering and making people believe. First of all, the only people that are in favor of these type of tactics towards people they disagree with are him.
Oh, I just got to read this.
Oh,
just
gosh.
because this is hilarious. Because he said it goes out. This guy, Gary, he says, enjoy your Russian salary. You have a few more checks. Bro, I just want to say, we got 6 people on here, bro. If they're giving us money, they're doing a bad job.
Yeah,
Like,
right.
Come on.
Yeah.
We don't have a lot of people on here right now. All right?
Like,
we're
bro,
being paid by Russians.
Bro, this is hilarious. But again, these are the people that believe stuff like this is going to happen.
Yeah.
Emotional.
That believe stuff like this is going to happen. This guy was being interviewed, a protester, with the Donald Trump in jail picture in his hand. Listen to what he says. This is the type of stuff.
What's your biggest obstacle in life right now?
My biggest obstacle in life? Trump. Trump, absolutely. So
do you wake up and think about him?
Yes, constantly, every day.
Do you go to sleep and think about him?
Yes, every day.
Are you in love with him?
I hate his guts.
So you're
Like, why? How does your every waking moment make where you think about how much you hate a certain person? This is only by design.
Right.
There's the only way that can happen is if the media, you have consumed so much media about someone. Like, I've watched a lot of stuff about Biden, Obama, Hillary, and they've done some horrible things. Hillary, especially, Clinton, Bill Clinton, the Bushes. You can name so many people, but I've never felt this way.
Right.
I've never felt this way about
You
like
mean you don't wake up thinking about Hillary?
go to bed thinking about. No.
Yeah, they have it bad. That Trump derangement is bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like we still want the best for you, Gary. We still want the best.
Yeah,
for you.
absolutely.
We still.
If you keep
want
tuning in,
you
Gary,
to have love in your life and receive.
You have a lot of hate, Gary. A lot of hate.
A lot of hate in your heart. You got hate in your heart. Let it out.
No, give it to Jesus.
Receive him, man. Because that's the thing we got. See, that's why we don't take it to heart.
Yeah.
Because
at the
like,
end of
that
the
dude's
day,
like I hate his guts.
I hate his guts.
Like everything in him, dude. I don't hate Kamala.
Yeah.
No.
The only reason why we're even bringing all this stuff up is because it's an election and she's trying to get into a seat that she don't need to be in.
Right.
Because she can't do it.
And the election's a week away.
The election's a week away. So we're bringing this stuff up because of that. But
Next Tuesday.
I hope Kamala
next Tuesday, that's
turns her life over and humbles herself.
Yeah.
And stops lying about every little thing. You know what I mean? I hope. She can't do the job, though. She can't do it.
Yeah.
Like
she hasn't done any
shown you.
job.
She can't do it. She's lying about everything.
Yeah.
She can't talk about policies. She can't go deep in policies.
Right.
She can't do it.
She can't go deep on anything.
Mm-hmm.
She can't go deep on anything.
From what I've seen.
She can't be honest with anything.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You can't be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Train politics.
On a positive note, though, speaking about policies, this happened at the rally. Someone was bringing up Trump's idea again about income tax.
We all say, make America great again. But let's just go over for a minute what that means, because we all say it as a slogan. When was America great? At the turn of the century, our economy was rocking. This is 1900, 125 years ago. We had no income tax. And all we had was tariffs. All we had was tariffs. And we had so much money that we had the greatest businessmen of America get together to try to figure out how to spend it. That's who we were then. But then we had World War I and we had World War II. And we felt we had a duty to rebuild the rest of the world. So here's what we did. We took down our protection. We took down our tariffs. And we turned instead and we taxed Americans so that we could export the power of our economy and save the rest of the world, which we did. Now let me ask you a question. What decade should that have ended? Should it have ended in the 80s? The 90s? 2000? What in the world are we doing? We're letting the rest of the world eat our lunch. And it is time to make America great again.
Yeah. Yep. And then last thing about this actor Zachary Levi, you know him, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
He
he
played Shazam.
Mm-hmm. He's been pro-Trump videos.
But he made a good point here. He was talking to Megyn Kelly about why he's voting for Trump. Let's listen to this real quick.
I'm not voting for Donald Trump. I'm voting for Donald Trump and Bobby Kennedy and Tulsi Gabbard and Vivek Ramaswamy and Elon Musk and JD Vance and everyone else that they're going to bring in this team. this Avengers, this Voltron, whatever you want to call it. And they're going to get in there and actually do what Donald Trump said he was going to do the first time, which is drain the swamp. And he has admitted that he couldn't do it and he didn't do it because he didn't know what he was doing. He didn't even think he was going to win the first time. And he had no time for his transition team. And then it was loaded with a bunch of sycophants and horrible people that were the swamp monsters that Bobby Kennedy has very accurately pointed out. And so now they're privately funding. I love this, that Trump is privately funding his own transition team, not waiting for the government. So they are ready to go and they are not compromised. That is the government that I want. That is that is something. Bobby is 100%. He and Tulsi are going to be let loose to be the bulldogs that we need to hold people to account. And by the way, and they will do it fairly. They will do it civilly. They will do it in love. I've sat with both of them. They are incredibly wonderful human people.
Yeah. And that is
powerful stuff.
That is the key to, I think, a lot of this is people see the team that's assembling. You're talking about people that left the Democratic Party, that saw the things that were happening there.
Not just left; they were kicked out.
Well, yeah, but they were kicked out first.
Yeah.
But Tulsi, Bobby Kennedy, and you talk about Bobby being put in charge of going in and cleaning out the FDA and all of the health things that are going on now, all the things that the poisons that they're feeding us, the pharmaceutical stuff that they're giving our kids, all that stuff being changed by a guy who's passionate about that. You're talking about Elon Musk going in and getting rid of the bloat in government like he did at Twitter when he first bought the company. The way he went in there and eliminated like 200,000 positions of nonsense.
Brought back free speech.
And dwindled that company down to the core needed people that are running it efficiently now. Right. And people were saying it was going to fail. People like, this guy commenting probably thought that Elon was going to ruin Twitter and that he, all of this. And, now you see what's really going on there. So you got him assembling this team of people that are going to transition into the White House this time, which is different than what happened last time. We talked about that earlier.
I always liked Tulsi.
Yeah. Even when Tulsi ran for president, I was like, yo, I like her. I like what she's talking about. I didn't agree with all of her policies, but I liked her.
Right.
All right. So last thing before we get out of here, we got to show. We're going to let Donald Trump announce. We're going to let him speak on this next segment and talk about what we're getting into here.
Biden is asleep. Kamala is at a dance party with Beyonce. Beyonce. Dance party with Beyonce. Dance party with Beyonce. Dance party with Beyonce. Dance party with Beyonce. Beyonce.
Roland Martin.
Beyonce. Party with Beyonce.
That was Roland Martin.
Beyonce. Dance party with Beyonce. Dance party with Beyonce.
Yeah, that went viral. People are always making memes out of Donald Trump. Yep, a dance party.
Fired.
Everybody. I'm telling you, it went viral.
Dance party with Beyonce.
If he wins it, then he should play it.
Huh?
If he wins, he should play it.
I know he should. Hold on, I'll show. This is another people doing it. Dance party.
Dance party with Beyonce.
Guy, I was looking for the Godfrey clip. Oh yeah.
Opens his mouth. A new beat is being made. I don't know what it is about Trump. Every time they make a beat out of something he says. This latest one, I ain't gonna lie. The beat is fire. The beat is fire. He's like, Joe Biden is sleeping and Kamala is out with Beyonce. Beyonce
is at a dance party with Beyonce. Beyonce. Dance party with Beyonce.
Yeah, we heard it. We heard it already. But yeah.
Rolling Polly.
Yeah, that's rolling.
Rolling Polly.
That's Roland Martin. He probably just got done looking at some videos on his computer.
He's like, guess what I got? Internet powers.
That's why he was excited right there. But so if you haven't heard, Kamala Harris pulled off another Beyonce scam on people. This time she had a little bit more juice with it, Last time they floated that out there with the DNC that Beyonce was going. All the pundits were talking about it. Beyonce's going to be here. Never showed up. People were disappointed. This time,
Beyonce got her $10 million.
They paid her $10 million to show up and give a little speech. This
Rally in
is
Houston,
her
Texas
walking
was
in.
Absolutely insane. You saw Beyonce and Kelly Rowland walked out.
Kelly looked like Beetlejuice. And then after that, Kamala walks out, right? She gives him the hug, and everybody's so mad because they're like, what? Beyonce only spoke for 3 minutes? I thought we were going to get a free concert. Wait, what? What's going on? Wait, why is she hugging Kamala? I thought this was a concert. Oh, and then Kelly and Beyonce have a nice little moment, reminiscing. And then everybody realizes it was a bait and switch, and they walked their butts out. As soon as Kamala got on that dang stage, everybody was pissed off, rightfully so.
They were saying like half the people left after Beyonce left because they really thought they were going to get a free concert. Because, Beyonce tickets are like $1,000. So they're like, oh, we get a free concert?
So there was no
They
dance
paid
party
her
with Beyonce.
$10 million?
They paid Lizzo $2 million.
So they got to pay these people.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of
think
course.
Trump is paying these people?
No, but this is what I'm saying. Like,
She got $10 million to talk for 3 minutes?
yes.
Kelly
About 4 minutes.
Kelly got $200, so to speak.
They gave her the suit. They gave Kelly the
That's why
suit.
she couldn't get anything more than that suit.
Yeah, y'all ain't right.
No dance party.
Wow.
With Beyonce.
Hold on.
That's sad, man.
Yeah,
That's
I know.
sad.
Speaking of Kelly's suit, somebody made a meme, dude. I have to show it.
Houston, we are grabbing back the pen.
Get out there right now and get these people on our side.
Oh man, I thought that was funny.
wins.
The internet always wins. But let's listen to Beyonce's speech so you can get the tone of what this entire rally. First of all, I heard the stipulation was Beyonce wouldn't go anywhere because this was done in Houston. That's her hometown.
Right.
So they had to come to her. But the whole theme of this rally was about abortion. You put it on faster speed.
Hard to hear.
I know. I don't know why the audio sounds like that. I'm here as a mother. This is all just emotion. Imagine being a woman and having the
all
opportunity
fluff.
to see a woman be president.
So I can feel good. But that's how she's been living her life.
Yep.
So it's not like far off for Beyonce
Yeah.
to want to be
Beyonce.
feeling like she's amazing,
Right.
right? And that's
Yeah.
all it's about.
Yep.
Like,
Right. And people are pointing out that the celebrities are tone deaf. They're trying to be like, I'm a mother. I'm
Yeah,
like you.
right.
I'm waiting in the grocery
You
store.
don't live the life that we live.
I'm the bread prices are high.
Right.
I can't afford school.
Yeah, women's access to health.
Cut it
Like,
out.
You had surrogates give birth to your children, and
Cut it out.
we still don't know if you had the first one because the Wendy Williams clip of you with the fake belly, and now she's got dementia. Like, there's a lot of questions.
Wendy Williams should go tell all.
No, she can't now.
She can't.
No.
She's got like dementia now.
Oh, wow.
You haven't seen that?
Yeah.
No, I haven't seen it.
Yeah, dude, she's in bad shape, and a lot of people are saying she
Diddy.
talked about the wrong people.
She's been lobotomized.
Who
was the doctors?
I don't remember. That's a good question. Here's this clip of Beyonce's mom kind of stumbling a little bit.
Been empowering for me. You know, the teleprompter, I'm having a hard time seeing it, guys. I'm just being real here. So it's been powerful to
Her powerful impassioned speech that she can't read off the teleprompter, guys.
She looks like she has so much work.
Yeah.
on her face.
So after that, the thing started out with a bunch of abortion doctors coming out. Vote for reproductive freedom.
Which is actually not reproductive at all.
We became doctors to take care of people. Nationwide.
Oh, so people were reporting how like a bunch of people, because it was really hot in there, it was packed, people didn't have water. There was a bunch of people having seizures and like passing out, and how these doctors,
I think someone needs some medical assistance over here.
people were like,
12 doctors, but they can't.
you're the doctors.
All we do is kill people.
Yeah, right. We don't save lives, we end them.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, so the whole theme of it was about abortion.
Yeah, like that's to say you're an abortion doctor. Like,
Yeah.
even that makes no sense. Kind of
Yeah.
goes against your what's it called, Hippocratic oath.
Hippocratic oath, yeah. Do no harm. Then it got a little rowdy after people realized Beyonce wasn't performing and people started heckling. I think she says the same line. Oh, that wasn't it. But there was part of the heckling where she tells them, "Oh, you need to go to the smaller rally up the street." She says that again. It's like even her insults are like scripted, but it was like this time he's not in the same state as you, right? So it didn't land so well.
Boy, that was crazy. She had her there for 3 minutes and they got mad.
Yeah, people were not happy.
Cool 10 million.
Yeah.
No, but I'm saying that's oh my gosh.
Oh, this dude is funny.
Kamala, the Indian community will not be voting for you specifically because you paid Beyonce $10 million just for a speech? Kamala, you had the opportunity to hire one of the greatest Indian dancers of all time, and I only charged 10 rupees.
Anyway,
I mean, dude, like, is even to it should blows my mind, like, to spend money in that way.
Yeah.
Like, just shows you she's gonna spend it that way. Imagine when she gets into the office, how she's gonna spend it.
Right. And even like people were pointing out, like even Bad Bunny coming out and endorsing her now. You don't think that they cut him a check for that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You don't think Michelle?
Well, how many they hitting people up online?
Yeah, they're
cut
hitting
them
influence
checks.
up. Oh, I gotta show this because this is
actually true stuff, not stuff that somebody says about Russians paying out.
right. These are facts.
These are facts. Actual facts.
This is a fact too. Look at this. Look at this ad. So when you talk about like their tactics and what they're campaigning on, so we're seeing them campaign on the main thing that they're winning on, and what most women are voting for them on. Like abortion seems to be their number one thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like that seems to be what the only thing they have, really.
Yeah.
Or that Trump is bad. Trump is bad and abortion.
Yeah.
Right.
Trump is Hitler, not even bad.
Right.
Trump is Hitler.
So look at how they're trying to reach young men. Look at what they think is going to reach young men. This is kind of disturbing.
Oh! Sorry, you can't do that.
What the hell, man? How'd you get in here?
I'm your Republican congressman. Now that we're in charge, we're banning porn nationwide.
You can't tell me what to do. Get out of my bedroom, you creep.
I won the last election, so it's my decision. I'm just gonna watch and make sure you don't finish illegally.
Dude.
That is the stupidest.
That's real?
This is a real.
Come on.
paid for by PAF, Progression Action Fund.com.
That's horrible.
Like, this is how they're campaigning on the left. This is what they're putting together.
Enough. Oh my God.
Like, this is what they're
Sick.
This is what they think is gonna motivate. They're literally campaigning.
Yeah.
They're literally campaigning on debauchery. Like, just
Yeah,
They won't
abortion.
let you watch porn. We
Yeah.
will.
they're gonna stop you from
Can't
watching
whack
porn.
off in the privacy of your own bedroom.
Yeah. Did you guys hear about that leaker coming out saying that Kamala was probably the one who had the coke in the White House?
Oh yeah,
You saw that?
I heard rumors about
Heard
that.
rumors about that.
She probably did.
Yeah. There was a whistleblower that got caught on a hidden camera talking about that. I'll play this
Taylor
real quick.
Swift, Eminem, Beyonce, who never performed, by the way. That's just another deceptive tactic by the left to bring in non-organic supporters. Usher, Leo DiCaprio, or in other words, the Diddy guest list. They all came out to support Harris. Leo still talking about climate change while he's using a private jet and buying mansions by the ocean. At least take the bus. The day the world will stop looking up to Hollywood and musicians for answers or entertainment is the day that our collective consciousness will finally start to rise.
These unnatural disasters were caused by climate change. Donald Trump continues to deny the facts. That's why I'm voting for Kamala Harris.
That dude looks
Who's the
like
person
he just got,
that's number one on that?
got done a coke bender. Like,
Yep.
He looks
Yeah. Yeah, he looks like this is like what Jack Nicholson was looking like. In his, like
Who's the person that's number one on that invitation list?
Leonardo DiCaprio.
Taylor Swift.
Looks like they all being called up to the congregation. Yeah, this is the clip I was talking about.
Until last year's spring, to the point of absurdity. And there was a big scandal. If you guys probably even heard about it. In July, security found a bag of cocaine. And the worst part of it was that it got leaked to the journalists. So the matter couldn't be hushed up before it became public. Now, luckily, all the right-wing media immediately rushed to blame Hunter Biden. But the left was smart enough to ignore the story. It was eventually hushed up. But I heard that afterwards there was a very serious conversation between Harris and Biden. And the president was mad.
Now, to me, I heard this and I was like, yo, this sounds like AI. Don't it sound like AI?
I was thinking, it just sounds like...
Sounds muffled.
It don't sound like the dude's talking genuinely. I don't
Yeah,
know.
it sounds like AI to me. Like this is like someone put this out there trying to make some kind of story.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't trust it.
It
but,
doesn't seem...
Yeah.
I just thought they kind of made his voice messed up so they don't reveal his identity.
But even his cadence.
Yeah, the cadence didn't sounded off to me.
Doesn't sound.
It didn't sound right. Like I can always kind of tell that weird kind of AI glitchiness. I'll play one more thing before we get out of here. This is people comparing Kamala Harris to Michael Scott.
Perhaps a weakness, some would say, but I actually think it's a strength.
Well, my weaknesses are actually strengths. Oh. Yes.
Look at the guy too.
Very good. There you go. Very good.
I really do value having a team of very smart people around me.
I work too hard. I care too much, and sometimes I can be too invested in my job.
Perhaps.
Yeah, and then she had another like real time Michael Scott moment at one of her campaigns the other day. They were chanting her name. Watch what she does. It's so weird.
Fake humble.
Yeah.
Now I want each of you to shout your own name. Do that.
Everyone was like, "Huh?"
Because it's about all of us. It's about all of us.
Yo, dude, that was like a real Michael Scott moment right there.
That was cringe.
She's
That was
cringe,
really
dude.
cringe.
She's cringe.
Yeah.
She's very cringe.
Yes.
And she does
Kamala
it
is
awkward.
so stupid.
That lady's.
That's my auntie.
That's auntie right there, boy. Yeah, I mean, there's so many clips I have here of her just being ridiculous, but we don't need to go into all of that. We hit enough for tonight. Shout out to everybody who's been in the chat, especially Gary, man. We appreciate you for all your great interactions, Gary. All your
Gary.
comments.
Thank you for calling us cowards.
Thank you for calling us cowards, man. We're so afraid of you. You are absolutely right. Shout out to Stan, who was on Rumble. He said, remember the other Asian dude a few years ago? Oh yeah, Trump don't trust China asshole.
China asshole.
Remember that? Yeah, I remember that. I remember that dude, man.
When I went to DC in 2020 for the 2020 election, remember we went?
Yeah.
It was that Chinese guy that I actually talked to.
Oh.
And yeah, he was talking about that whole thing.
Yeah. The stuff going on in China, yeah. Got a comment on YouTube. It said, "Hey guys, what are we fighting for is a new what does it say? What are we fighting for is a new fave. Beautiful song from the music to harmonies to the message. Top tier." Thank you so much. That's from Amber. Shout out to Amber. Thank you for checking out the new music. Oh, and by the way, yeah, for those of you that don't know, we did put a song out last week on Friday the 25th. It's called What Are We Fighting For? Streaming on all the platforms. So make sure you guys go check that out. Listen to our music. And we got a show coming up in January at City Winery again. If you guys want to come, get your tickets early for that once they announce. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Thanks for all the comments and the likes and shares. Make sure you hit the like on your way out. Shout out to Theris for sending us stars. We appreciate that. And yeah, don't forget, if you want to support, head on over to patreon.com/youngliontv, where you can become a member over there and sign up for as little as $3 a month. And shout out to all of our Patreon members who, just give us a little bit of a support and a little bit of love for what we do every week. We try to do this every week and go live and then, have some serious conversation about what's going on in the world. This election is a big one coming up. It's a week away, but I think early voting has started in the area already. I'm planning on doing that soon. So make sure you guys get out there and vote. And, this is, even if I know people are discouraged because they're like, oh, New Jersey's going to go Democrat no matter what. If you are leaning towards Trump, but I think it is going to make a statement if we vote and get him the popular vote. So I think all those votes matter. So get on out there, vote, and let's keep praying, man. Keep praying for this country. Keep praying for Trump. Keep praying for the truth to be revealed. And we appreciate everybody. Thank you guys for watching. See everyone next week. Peace.
Young lion, go live, yeah. Young lion, you rich, yeah. This kingdom has room, yeah. Go and fight people.